a slider, a changeup, and he had some teammates calling him Little Pedro, as in Pedro Martinez. The 2-0 on the way. Fastball, that's right down the middle at 91 for a call strike. Switch to Roadrunner Broadband Turbo and hit warp speed every time you go online. Cueto, when we talk about that spin, he does kind of a modified Luis Tiant. His back to the hitter. Now he delivers a breaking ball, line foul down the right field line and out of play. 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you remember Luis Tiant, who pitched for the Cleveland Indians and the Boston Red Sox most prominently during his major league career, he would turn just about all the way around and start to deliver that ball before the hitter had any idea where it was. Talk about hiding the ball. Tiant did it as well as anyone. Here's the 2-2 to Reyes. And a fastball line to left. Heisey coming in, and he makes the running catch for the first out. So Reyes, the Major League's leading hitter, flies to left. It'll bring up Justin Turner. And let's look at the Reds defensively. They have Joey Votto back in the lineup tonight at first. Brandon Phillips is at second with Edgar Renteria, the shortstop, and Miguel Cairo at third. In the outfield, Chris Heisey, the late insertion into the lineup in left. Drew Stubbs in center, Jay Bruce in right, and Johnny Cueto pitching with Ramon Hernandez behind the plate. Here's Justin Turner. First pitch, fastball right down the middle for a called strike. 0-1 at 88 miles an hour. Turner on a 7-game hitting streak, batting at .277, 2 homers, 37 RBIs. The 0-1 on the way. A fastball lined in the air towards left center. Heisey going over. He won't get it. It's in for a hit, and it rolls to the wall. Heisey picks it up on the warning track, and Turner jogs into second, standing with a 1-out double. And if he's not running as well as normal tonight, it's understandable. You should see the welt that he has on his thigh from a pitch that he was hit with last night in the 9th inning by Jose Arredondo. That really left a mark. But right now he's safe and secure in scoring position. So give your family the gift of a safe and secure financial future. From New York Life Insurance Company, New York Life is safe and secure, so you can be too. Here's Carlos Beltran batting left-handed. Breaking ball lined off the glove of the first baseman Votto into short right field. Turner had a hold up thinking it would be caught. So he goes to third and stops there. And on at first is Carlos Beltran. And we'll see how they score that. That ball really should have been caught. Votto didn't exactly have to do one of the great vertical leaps of all time. He just got his glove up and it went off of it, and it's going to be an error on Joey Votto. There's really no other way to score that. Yeah, the ball was scorched, but it was hit right at him. So Turner now at third base after his 1-out double. And on the error by Votto, Beltran the runner at first. And David Wright the batter. And he has been red hot since coming back over the weekend in Miami. He's hit in all 4 games that he's played. 8 for 19 with a homer, 6 runs batted in, 3 doubles, and 5 runs scored. The infield back, Cueto deals a fastball for a called strike, 0-1. And as good as Johnny Cueto's been this year after missing the first month or so because of the shoulder problem, against the Mets in 4 starts, in 21 innings, he's allowed 30 hits and 19 runs. 0-2 with an 8.14 ERA. The 0-1, a fastball missed low outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. So although this kid is one of the better young right-handers in all of baseball, he's just 25 years old, the Mets have really belted him around pretty effectively in the 4 games that he started against them. Turner, the runner at third. Beltran being held on at first by Votto. The outfield straight away against the right-hand hitter. The 1-1 to right. Fastball taken on the inside corner for a called strike 2. That's a pretty good looking pitch. David lets it go, and now he's behind in the count. Last night he moved into sole possession of second place on the Mets all-time hit list. Only Eddie Kranepool is ahead of him now by about 28 hits. Cueto sets and now steps off. Right now with 1,190 hits as a Met, and Eddie Kranepool has 1,418. Wright trying to get the Mets in front here in the first inning with 1 out, runners at the corners. Phillips shading towards the bag at second. 1-2 pitch, and it just missed inside. A fastball at 94 miles an hour. So that evens the count. 2 balls and 2 strikes to David Wright, with Daniel Murphy waiting on deck. Laz Diaz, the home plate ump tonight. Wally Bell at second. The crew chief John Hirschbeck at second. And Scott Barry is the umpire at third. 2-2 to right. Cueto to the belt. Throws to first, but Beltran backs. Hardly off the bag. Questions about Beltran in this afternoon's press briefing with Terry Collins were somewhat minimal compared to what they've been lately, because frankly there is nothing left to say. 2-2 pitch. Fastball chopped slowly to the left side. A run will score. Fielded by the shortstop Renteria. Throws to first in time to get right. In to score is Turner. Going to second is Beltran. 2 men away, but the Mets have a 1-0 lead as Wright picks up his 25th RBI of the year. So Cueto made a decent pitch to David Wright, but David was able to fight it off, and the slow hit ground ball produces the first run of the game. And with 2 men away, it's going to bring up Daniel Murphy. So that run and anything else Cueto might give up here in this first inning will be unearned. As based on the way it's played out, the inning should be over now. So Beltran at second. And now Cueto wants a fresh set of signs from Ramon Hernandez, the catcher. Murphy batting at .308. He went 2 for 5 last night. 6 homers, 44 RBIs. Left-hand batter looks at a fastball for a called strike, 0-1. He was involved in a rather adventurous play at first base last night in the 9th inning when Paul Yanish kind of cued one down to first. Murphy stumbled, swam to the bag. The 0-1 slider lifted in the air to right center. On the run, the right fielder Bruce reaches out, can't get it. Falls in front of him for a hit. It's backed up by the center fielder Stubbs. Around third, Beltran. He comes in to score standing. And on at first with a bloop single and a run batted in is Daniel Murphy. And the Mets have a 2-0 lead.
And they also have gotten into the head of Johnny Cueto. He is standing off the mound, and he was visibly upset that that ball was not caught by Jay Bruce, who reached down and just flat out missed it.
I'll tell you what, I might have been premature scoring that a hit for Murphy. Well, it is a hit according to the official score, but that ball's got to be caught.
Wow.
I mean, that's an error, quite frankly. And hometown scoring it doesn't matter now. All the runs scored in this inning are unearned anyway, but boy, there are 2 balls by 2 of the most important players on this Reds team, Joey Votto, the first baseman, and Jay Bruce, that have got to have been caught in this inning. And because they're not, the Mets are up 2-0. Here's Jason Bay. Slider, pop foul, coming straight back and out of play, 0-1.
Interesting part is that when, an outfielder's running at full speed, the one thing you say is he's reaching down, but how far is he reaching? He reached down to his thigh, not to his knee or below. That ball, I agree, should have been caught.
Has to be caught. So 0-1 to Bay. Now the pitch, slider low outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Cueto just snapped the ball back from Hernandez. Now he takes the glove off of his hand.
Not happy.
Kicking at the scraper at the back of the mound. And he's a temperamental kid, but he's got to settle in here. They haven't made plays behind him, but he's got to find a way to fight through. And the Mets would love to keep him nervous. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball. Fouled straight down at home plate. Frankly, he hung that slider. Bay missed it, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. There have been many at-bats in Jason Bay's career where that would have been trouble for a pitcher. A hanging slider, but with Jason struggling, just 6 for his last 48. As far as Cueto's concerned, just a harmless foul ball. So 1-2 the count. The outfield straight away. The pitch, fastball up and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So if nothing else, these plays that weren't made are forcing Cueto to throw a lot more pitches. And they are of the stressful variety because he is still really bothered. Once again, walked to the back of the mound, lifts his arms up, just trying to stay loose. And he's anything but loose right now. He's an uptight kid at the moment. 2 runs in. Murphy at first, 2 out. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. Strike 3, side retired. Now the Mets scored 2 runs unearned. There were 2 hits. 1 error, another one that should have been. 1 man left, middle of the first. Mets 2, Reds coming up on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Let's go Mets! 2-0 Mets as we go to the bottom of the first inning. Geico could help you save on more than just car insurance. Call 1-800. Oh, that's good. Lockout ended yesterday. We're doing football material already. Timely, topical. And for John Neese, a home start of sorts. Defiance, Ohio, certainly closer to Cleveland, I guess, than it is to Cincinnati. Cincinnati and Cleveland are at pretty much opposite ends of the state. Columbus right in the middle. Drew Stubbs, the batter, hits the first pitch on the ground to short. Gobbled up by Reyes, throws him out. 1 pitch, 1 out. Might be surprised to know, considering that you've got Major League Baseball in Cleveland and Cincinnati for so very long, that neither of those cities is now considered the biggest city in the state of Ohio. That would be Columbus, which is where Ohio State University is located, where the Columbus Blue Jackets of the National Hockey League play, the only Major League professional team in that city. And here is Edgar Renteria, right-hand batter, and a fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Renteria, America's teammate, batting at .234 with a homer and 17 RBIs. He plays for everybody. 0-1 curveball in for a called strike, 0-2. This is his 7th team and the 6th team that he's played for in 8 seasons. But when he plays, he produces. The 0-2, a fastball pounded into and then out of the Mets dugout, skimming the roof and going back into the seats. Last year, the World Series MVP with the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, the teams he plays for, as a part of their puzzle, they usually win.
Here's the 0-2 on the way. Fastball inside, 1-2. Of course, he had the hit that won the 1997 World Series for the Florida Marlins. Also played for the Cardinals in the World Series against the Red Sox. 1-2 pitch hit on the ground towards short to his left. Reyes. He's got it. Throws to first in time. 2 men away. So he's getting a couple of ground balls. Joey Votto, the batter. We look at the Mets defensively. And they've got Murphy at first. Turner at second. Reyes at short, right at third. Bay, Pridey, Beltran left to right in the outfield. The battery brought to you by Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable. Visit interstatebatteries.com to find a dealer near you. Neese is pitching. And Ronnie Paulino doing the catching. And here's Joey Votto. Terrific left-hand hitter. First pitch, fastball fouled over the screen. No balls, 1 strike. National League's most valuable player is 4th in the league in hitting. He's batting at .314 with 13 homers and 59 RBIs. And he just eats up left-handed pitching. The 0-1. Fastball downstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. He hits .356 against the lefties. This guy's a left-hand hitter. That's the 4th best average against lefties in the league. And the 1-1. A fastball missed low. 2-1. Kind of looks like Las Diaz has a rather narrow strike zone to this point.
Tell you one thing you're talking about with Votto. Just watch his front shoulder. It's a lot like George Brett.
2-1 pitch, swung on and missed. Little late on that cutter, and the count 2-2.
Keeps that front shoulder, and so many left-handers against southpaws, they absolutely open up so quickly that they have no chance. That's why so many of them strike out to that breaking ball, mainly a slider.
There's the 2-2 pitch, and a slider low outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. All right, so he's heard the names Don Mattingly and George Brett in comparison the last 2 nights up here.
That's what happens when you're an MVP.
Well, that's it. And, you know, he is and has been an outstanding hitter almost from the day he made his Major League debut. 3-2 pitch on the way. Curveball hit weakly and foul. A little dribbler off to the right of home plate. Joey Votto came up with the Reds in 2007. Just had 84 at-bats with him, but hit .321. .297 his rookie year, .322 the next year, and last year the MVP. Payoff pitch, low outside, a fastball, he walked him. And John Neese allows a 2-out walk to Votto, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Brandon Phillips. Neese has made 2 starts against the Reds in his career. He's 0-1 with a 4.61 earned run average. But over his last dozen starts, he's been one of the best pitchers in the entire league. 7-4 with a 2.74 ERA during that time. Last time out was Thursday in the final game of the homestand against the Cardinals. Albert Pujols hit a 2-run homer against him in the first inning. And then the Mets imploded defensively in the 5th. when 3 runs scored that really shouldn't have, and he wound up losing the game 6-2. So here's Phillips, right-hand batter. First pitch, fastball swung on and missed, 0-1. Brandon Phillips batting at .281 with 10 homers, 56 RBIs. And he said after facing Jason Isringhausen and striking out with the bases loaded to end the game last night, he said R.A. Dickey really fouled him up. The 0-1, little topper in front of home plate. It goes up the third base line and kicks foul. And the count, no balls and 2 strikes. That's what that knuckleball will do to you. Phillips grounded to first, struck out, reached on a pass ball, and then doubled against R.A. Dickey. But Phillips was saying, you know, you're facing that crazy knuckleball, and then they bring a guy out of the bullpen in Parnell who throws 100, and just about anybody who comes out of the bullpen behind a knuckleballer is going to give you a totally different look than what you'd seen to that point. And that's frankly why Joey Votto didn't play last night, because Dusty Baker was looking to give him a night off. 0-2 to Phillips, fastball inside and low, 1-2, and he didn't want Votto to go through that.
It was for that same reason that the Cardinals' Gerald Laird laid down a bunt with 2 outs to bring in a run in the 8th inning against 98-mile-per-hour fastball thrown by Bobby Parnell.
1-2 to Phillips. Breaking ball, swung on and missed, strike 3. Bobbled by Paulino. Throws to first to complete the strikeout, and that retires the side. First strikeout for Nice. No runs, no hits, a walk, 1 left. And at the end of 1, the Mets 2, the Reds nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. We head to the 2nd inning. The Mets leading 2-0, and Johnny Cueto will face the bottom third of the Mets order, starting with Ronnie Paulino. Mets catcher, a right-hand batter. Cueto spins and deals a slider that hits the outside corner for a called strike 1. Paulino just 8 for his last 42, but he still has his average over 300 at 305. And the 0-1 changeup swung on and missed. And it's 0-2 on Ronnie Paulino with Jason Pridey and John Neese to follow. Now the 0-2 to Ronnie. In the dirt, a slider, I guess. It certainly didn't break. He just almost spiked it more than anything. And what he really did was clip his catcher, Ramon Hernandez, who's got a walk off the carom. Well, it was probably about a 55-footer. Never mind a 58-footer. And the home plate ump, Laz Diaz. What a gentlemanly thing to do. He just walks out to the mound and gives Hernandez, the catcher, an opportunity to work it off.
That baseball was hand-delivered. You're absolutely right. Cueto thought he was going to throw it to him, and he walked all the way out, extended the hand with the baseball. He took it. And I think Hernandez is feeling a whole lot better because of it.
Well, all designed to give the catcher the benefit of the physical doubt. And now the 1-2 to Paulino, way outside a slider. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the catchers will do that for the umpires, too, and so will the hitters. They go through so much back there. 2-2 on the way. Breaking ball in the dirt, and that one ate up Hernandez. And it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. I think Cueto might still be a little upset with the events of the first inning, and who knows what might have been said in the dugout when he got back there. 2 plays weren't made behind him, contributing to the Met runs. Now the payoff pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed, strike 3. Gorgeous slider there from Johnny Cueto, and that takes care of Ronnie Paulino. Second strikeout. 1 out. Jason Pridey coming up. Mets baseball is brought to you by Dodge and your local Dodge dealer. Fall in love with driving again. Go to Dodge.com to see their latest offers on the 2011 lineup. They are Dodge, and they are never neutral. Jason Pridey starting for the 2nd straight night. And the first pitch to him, a fastball rolled foul to the left of home plate, 0-1. Let's pause here for station. Hold on a second before we pause. They're going to call catcher's interference on Hernandez. And Pridey is going to go down to first base. Laz Diaz now is going to talk about it with the third base umpire, Scott Barry.
He's actually seeking help.
Well, he made the call. I mean, if you're calling catcher's interference, it's because you, as the home plate umpire, feel that the hitter, with his swing, made contact with the glove of the catcher. And that was the initial call. That's why Pridey is standing on first base right now. And all four umpires are going to huddle up here. So you know what? While they're talking about it, we'll pause now for station identification and let you know what happens on the WFAN. Howie Rose, Wayne Hagan with you in Cincinnati. The umpires conferring. And that will tell us whether or not the call, the preliminary call of catcher's interference, would stand. If it does, Pridey is at first base. It would be ruled an error on the catcher.
I think this is going to go against the Mets.
Yeah, Johnny Cueto's waving Pridey back to the batter's box, and now here comes Terry Collins, and his question is going to be, if you made the call, if you thought you saw and heard the contact between Pridey's bat and Hernandez's glove, why did you even feel compelled to ask for help? That would be my question.
That's exactly what Terry Collins is probably saying to him.
Could you think of any other issue or any other question that he might be asking?
Laz reacted to something he heard, and then when Ramon Hernandez told him, no, I didn't do that, then he questioned himself.
Well, that didn't work when I was growing up.
Well, you know what? It rarely occurs like this, and we've heard about your neighborhood. We've had a lot of people tell us about that in Bayside. But, it's interesting that in a call like that, you rarely see a catcher say that he didn't do it. I mean, the catchers are always guilty on catcher's interference because you can hear it, they feel it, and it hurts their hands, quite frankly, when a bat hits them in the glove. But this is a very strange call by Laz Diaz, and then to go to get help after making the call, he shouldn't have done it in the first place.
Well, whatever Terry Collins ultimately heard from John Hirschbeck, who is the crew chief, I guess that appeases Terry. He wasn't going to win it at that point anyway. Goes back to the dugout. And I just saw a replay from a side angle that, frankly, is inconclusive to me. I could not tell from that. But anyway, Pridey back in the box. And the 0-1 pitch fouled back to the screen. So now he's behind in the count. No balls on 2 strikes. Whereas a second ago he was on first base. But it's 2-0 New York with 1 out, nobody on here in the top half of the second inning. Now Cueto turns and delivers. Slider swung on and missed strike 3. Dropped by Hernandez, so he gets up and throws to first to finish the strikeout. And that's 3 straight strikeouts now recorded by Cueto. 2 out, nobody on, and John Neese coming up. Hyundai donates $100 to the Hope and Heroes Children's Cancer Fund, benefiting the New York Presbyterian Morgan Stanley Children's Hospital and Columbia University Medical Center. For every homer the Mets hit this season, the total contribution is $6,600. So here is Neese, 3 out of 38 at the plate this year. 2-0 Mets. And Cueto's pitch. Fastball right down the middle for a call, strike 1. And now Cueto delivers the 0-1 and a fastball fouled back to the screen. No balls and 2 strikes. This is Johnny Cueto's 4th year in the major leagues. And the 0-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball inside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mentioned he's 25 years of age. He became the youngest Reds pitcher with 100 games started in his career since Don Gullett, who did it in 1974 when he was 23. He came up at 19. The 1-2 breaking ball in there for a called strike 3, and that retires the side. So Cueto strikes out the side with a little adventure in between. But in the middle of the second inning, it's the Mets 2 and the Reds nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets!
2-0 New York as we go to the bottom of the second. Why don't you bring your group to Citi Field to share the excitement of the Mets 2011 season with family, friends, or co-workers? Call 718-507-TIXX or log on to Mets.com to book your group tickets. Enjoy world-class hospitality areas, including the Empire Party Suites, Modell's Clubhouse, Big Apple, Shea Bridge Terrace, and the Delta Club patio seating. Just go to Mets.com to book your tickets. Have a great day. And we go to the bottom of the second here with the Mets leading the Reds 2-0. Jay Bruce, the right fielder, left-hand hitter, in to lead off against John Neese. And Neese's first pitch, a fastball on the inside corner for a called strike one. Bruce hitting a .268, 21 home runs, sixth most in the league, 57 RBIs. And the 0-1 curveball drops in for a called strike two. Nice looking hook there from John Neese. Great night to throw that pitch. Nice humid night. The 0-2, a fastball outside 1-2. Now you might think nice and humid would be mutually exclusive to some, but if you throw changeups and curveballs, it's a great pitch, you know, because you need a little humidity to get your best grip. The 1-2 taken outside, a cutter, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You couldn't be more accurate because every pitcher talks about that. That's what they love about summertime. The grip. When it's cold, it is very difficult.
2-2 pitch. And a fastball popped up high outside third over by the Mets dugout. Paulino over for a look, but it's out of play. So it's 2-2. So there again. More proof as to why hot and humid is good. It's good for you. Especially if you're a pitcher. You're not buying it.
What? Imagine I just aren't humidity guys. We're in the mid-70s.
Well, you're not pitchers, that's why.
That's right.
Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball a little bit low, full count. Chris Heisey waiting on deck, and then Miguel Cairo.
We don't like to perspire.
So Neese with a payoff pitch to Bruce. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Got him with a fastball, and Neese has his second strikeout. One away, Heisey coming up. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Mercy College. Thinking of transferring to a new college? Go to mercytransfer.org today. Heisey not only was a late addition to the game, but he's also the 15th batter. And Geico wants you to know that a 15-minute phone call can save you 15% or more on your car insurance. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Heisey, a right-hand hitter. First pitch on the way. On the outside corner, a fastball 0-1. This kid hit 3 home runs in a game against the Yankees last month. But he did not play last night because he's had a cranky shoulder. 0-1 curveball fouled straight down at home plate, 0-2. And that was the result of coming together with center fielder Drew Stubbs on a ball the other night against the Atlanta Braves. But Heisey was inserted into the lineup just moments before the game started because the Reds traded Johnny Gomes to Washington. The 0-2 fastball in there, strike 3 called. Heisey's asking if he held his swing. Laz Diaz said, well, whatever he said, it doesn't matter because I'm calling you out.
The last 7 batters in this game have struck out.
That's Jason Day struck out to end the bottom of the first, top of the first inning. And then Brandon Phillips struck out to end the bottom half. The Mets went down with 3 strikeouts in the second, 2 here in the bottom half. And now Miguel Cairo. Fastball for a called strike, 0-1. Fielders can just sit down and relax and let the pitchers handle it. Just playing catch with their catchers. Now the 0-1 to the right-hand batter. Cairo fouled back to the screen, 0-2. In Philadelphia, Tim Lincecum was supposed to pitch for the Giants tonight, but he's got the stomach flu. So Barry Zito replaced him on the mound, and he's probably got an upset stomach because the Phillies scored 4 runs in the bottom of the first against him and lead 4-1. 0-2 to Cairo. Fastball just missed outside, 1-2.
Giants were at the White House yesterday being celebrated for their world championship.
Hey, you don't think it's something they ate, do you? What'd they serve up? 1-2 pitch, breaking ball in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. So if the Giants win the World Series again and they get an invite next year to the White House, does Lincecum go, or does he say, oh, I'm not eating in that place anymore? I'm ordering in. There are just too many lines that are too obvious here that I guess we'll just have to leave to the imagination. 2-2 the count. I don't know the name of the White House chef. 2-2 pitch hit hard on the ground foul down the third base line. It caroms right off the sidewall to Coach Mark Berry. And the count 2-2.
Tell you one thing that's impressive about those Giants is that bullpen. Now, it had some problems in that first game with the Mets prior to the All-Star break, but since the All-Star break, 0.28 ERA for the bullpen.
2-2 pitch hit on the ground to short. The strikeout stretch ends. Reyes has it, throws out Cairo, side retired. Reds go in order at the end of 2. It's 2-0 New York on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Well, the fans being serenaded by Paperback Writer. 1966 Beatles hit, which I'm sure will be performed here on August the 4th as Sir Paul McCartney comes to Cincinnati with his On the Run tour. We're off that day. I might come out here, Wayne.
I'll come with you. Here's a breaking ball inside ball one to Jose Reyes. You got to see him at Shea.
Well,
no, it's Citi Field.
Yeah,
wasn't
Citi
it?
Field.
First year of Citi Field. Pitch on the way, and that's a little bit low. And they count 2 balls and no strikes to Jose Reyes.
One of the all-time great nights when he played the first concert ever at Citi Field. And, of course, he and his friends, the first one at Shea.
Pitch on the way, and a fastball taken for a strike. 2-1 to Reyes, who flied to left his first time. He is the 17th batter of this game. And there's been 1 fly ball out to left field. Everything else has either been a strikeout or a ground ball to shortstop for both sides. A pitch inside, and it's 3-1.
I thought Geico was going to extend things by 2 minutes. I didn't know where you were going there.
It's kind of funny how this game's gone tonight. Shortstops involved, and the pitchers and the catchers, basically. 3-1 offering. Swinging a bouncy ball to the right side. Charged by the second baseman. Phillips bobbles and cannot recover. And safe at first is Jose Reyes. That took a funny hop. It's going to be an error that allows Reyes to reach safely on a Gold Glover at second base. But I don't know if there was a little too much style involved coming in on that particular ball. But it came up and handcuffed him. And then fell between his feet. And he reached down with a bare hand. And by then, too late to get Reyes.
And the mind always has to work a little quicker when you know you're pursuing a somewhat slowly hit ball against the speed of Reyes running from the left side. But that ball still had to have been played by Phillips and was not. And the Reds have made their second error, which is generous because they really should have 3.
No wonder Cueto struck out 4 straight. Here's Justin Turner. And he takes a slider on the outside corner for a called strike. He doubled into the gap left center field, and quite frankly, he hasn't hit a lot of balls to left center. When he hits for extra bases, he actually goes to right center most of the time. He has an 8-game hitting streak. He has scored 1 of the 2 runs for the Mets. They lead it 2-0. The pitch, another slider, and it's low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
One of the things Terry Collins was saying when we talked to him about Jason Turner today was that he wants him, the next step for Turner is to start pulling the ball more often, particularly early in the count. Because the pitchers know, especially with 2 strikes, he's looking to go the other way.
Justin waiting on a 1-1, and he'll wait a little longer. Snap throw to first, and I don't know how Reyes got back. That was a quick move by Cueto. My goodness. Reyes had just edged off to his lead and was kind of frozen a little bit at first base. Didn't react to that initial move. Now Cueto bluffs him back again. So the cat-mouse game is going on here in Cincinnati. Cueto out of the set. He delivers at a fastball fouled back by Turner. And they count 1 ball and 2 strikes. Out on deck is Carlos Beltran. We're coming to you live from the Peerless Boilers broadcast booth. Remember, Peerless builds America's best boilers. Mets scored 2 runs in the first inning. A ground ball out by David Wright brought in Justin Turner. Daniel Murphy got a base hit. As another throw goes to first, and Reyes is already standing back there. The ball momentarily dropped by Joey Votto. But a ball that was hit into right center field looked like it was going to be caught and wasn't. They awarded a single and an RBI to Murphy. That played to Carlos Beltran. So the Mets leading 2-0 here in the third. There's 2 runs scoring in the first. Now Cueto's taken a long time. Time requested by Turner. So Cueto goes to the rosin bag. Places the right foot up against the rubber. Works out of the stretch. Checks the runner. Short lead at first by Reyes of the pitch. And a fastball sinks low. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. He throws in the range of 93, 94 miles an hour. For a guy who has gone at least 90 innings this year, he has the second lowest ERA, 1.98. He delivers. And it's inside, just missing with a fastball, 3-2. That is really a tough pitch to take when you have 2 strikes. So Cueto upset again because he thought he had picked up the inside corner. Reyes with nobody out. The runner at first. Still not a big lead, but he should be going. He is. The breaking ball is whacked into center field, a base hit. He will go first to third as Reyes is looking over his shoulder to the center fielder Drew Stubbs, who throws it back in towards second. And Turner has done it again. Another hit. And Turner, the beat just goes on. He has 4 hits in this series. He's safe at first. And over at third is Jose Reyes. Help ensure your family's financial future is safe and secure. Contact your local New York Life insurance agent or visit NewYorkLife.com.
Oh, he's so good in that 2-hole for so many reasons. He's patient. You play hit and run with him, and he's generally going to make contact. He doesn't strike out a whole lot. And he's a comfortable 2-strike hitter, which a lot of good hitters are not.
Carlos Beltran doesn't want July to end for probably a bunch of reasons, but he's hitting .339 this month, and he swings the first pitch, a fastball, and lofts it foul off to the left. That was a pitch that was up by Johnny Cueto. Nice catch made by Fan. So Cueto in a jam. He's trailing 2-0. The Mets have nobody out. Runners at the corners. Infield playing back. Middle infielders pitch towards second. And the pitch, slider inside. 1 ball, 1 strike to Beltran. 47 extra base hits. Leads the National League with 30 doubles. 15 home runs and 65 driven in. Cueto sets and he fires. And a breaking ball looped into shallow center field. Out goes Renteria. It's over his head. Dunks in for a base hit. And going first to third is Turner. The throw by Renteria to third is in time as Cairo applies the tag. Coming in to score on the play is Reyes to make it 3-0. But Justin Turner took a few extra liberties there running and gets caught by Edgar Renteria. I think he felt in many respects that little looper would fall for a hit, which it did, and it's 66 RBIs for Beltran. But when the ball went over the shoulder of Renteria in shallow center, it kind of died a slow death out there. It didn't continue to roll, and Renteria picked it up, threw it in, and got the out of Turner at third base, and that's the first out. It goes 6-5. And here's a pitch in for a strike to David Wright.
Well, it's bad base running to make the first out of an inning at third base. And if Turner was in part gambling that Renteria would panic and rush his throw,
The pitch is a fastball low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Edgar Renteria is not going to panic.
Never.
And he just picked that ball up, sized up the situation, saw where Turner was, took a beat, and made a strong 1-hop throw, and Turner was out by 5 feet.
Cairo was waiting for him. Renteria, you're not going to pull too much on him. He's seen it all. Beltran walks off to a short lead at first. His right waits, and the fastball fouled back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. On deck, limbering up, is Daniel Murphy. Mets leading 3-0. The Power Report brought to you by Con Edison. Save big on energy costs for your home and business with the Con Edison Green Team at ConEd.com. Fastball runs inside. 2-2. He continues to try to pound that ball in on David Wright. A lot of teams did that after his beating by Matt Cain of the San Francisco Giants. Cueto peers in, comes set. and his delivery. And a fastball is low, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Wright strikes out a lot. Beltran hasn't been asked to run an awful lot at first base, although Terry Collins has mentioned that he would like him to run a little bit more. He's stolen 3 bases in 3 tries, but you would figure the Mets leading 3-0 have nothing to lose to send him. He's off to a good-sized lead, but not going. The pitch is a bounding ball foul up the third base side. Daniel Murphy's up next. Cueto in his last appearance was able to beat the Pittsburgh Pirates. Not many teams are beating them these days. Gave up just 1 run on 4 hits in 6 innings in that game. Left the game leading 3-1. He has had 3 blown saves while he has departed a game, so he could have more than just the 6 wins and 9 decisions. Pitch fouled away by David Wright. That was an off-speed pitch. Beltran bluffed as if he were going at first base, but did not take off. Showing a little respect for the guy out on deck, too, Daniel Murphy. His ability to hit the ball with authority, driving in his fair share of runs. He's driven in 1 tonight. He has 45 ribbies. First things first, 1 out, runner at first. Mets leading 3-0, and the pitch to David Wright. Fastball bounced to the left side and under the glove of Cairo, the third baseman. Then it hits off the body of Renteria, the shortstop. It rolls over into foul territory where he will track it down. And the Mets have runners at first and second. We'll see how they will score that because 2 fielders could not field it. And it's going to be a base hit under the glove of Cairo reaching for it. And quite simply, that could have been a double play if it's fielded cleanly by Cairo.
You wouldn't know it by watching the Cincinnati Reds tonight, but they've actually been one of the better defensive teams in baseball this season. But every ball that the Mets have put in play has been somewhat adventurous, including that last one. And so Brian Price, the pitching coach, is out at the mound to make sure there are no sharp objects anywhere near Johnny Cueto and to try to settle his entire team down.
I mean, nobody's doing anything right behind Cueto. Nobody. Ball hit to the left, and I think really for Cairo, he thought the ball was going to come up, so he reached out and stayed underneath his glove, and all Renteria was doing was backing up on the play, and then when the ball kind of got to him, he was startled to see it, and it hit off of his body. A kick save at a beauty over into foul ground, and boy, did he run and scamper after that ball, slid down to a knee as if he were sliding into a base to backhand the ball and try to ensure that Beltran didn't go to third, which he did not.
Only 2 teams in the National League made fewer errors going into this game than the Reds. So this is certainly atypical of how they've performed all year. But every ball the Mets put into play right now is an adventure.
And here's Mr. Adventure himself, Daniel Murphy. He truly is. Defensively, offensively, running the bases. And he stands in with 1 out. And he takes a fastball high, ball 1. Murphy, as we mentioned, hit a soft little fly ball that fell beyond the reach of Jay Bruce coming in from right field. Cueto sets and he fires, and a breaking ball fouled over near Chris Spire. In fact, he one-hands it. On the near side of the dugout, he's the bench coach for Dusty Baker. Dusty, a guy who has his home near the Sacramento area, not too far from Jerry Manuel, the former Mets skipper. They're very good friends. Chris Spire from Alameda in the Bay Area. Late swing and a miss by Daniel Murphy. He got beat on a fastball at 93. He doesn't get beat that often.
I once asked Bobby Valentine, because Derek Bell, when he was with the Mets, had this habit of perfectly executing hit and runs, almost as though he could see the hole start to open and then hit the ball through the hole. I asked Bobby Valentine who the best he ever saw was at doing that. He said Chris Spire.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball fouled away by Murphy. Well, he came up as a giant shortstop, very young, but being an Alameda kid just across the bay, it's just actually just a little southwest of Oakland, not too far from the airport. In fact, they have the Navy base there. That's where the Blue Angels, when they go in for Fleet Week in early October, that's where they take off, and they take off right over the Bay Bridge. But because he was from the Bay Area, Chris was an instant hero in San Francisco. They never forgot it because he was the Rookie of the Year. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the pitch. Look out, that hit him. That hit him in the hip. And Murphy is going to go off to first base, but he's going to walk right by Cueto as he finally found himself going, I'm a little close to this pitcher right now. Kind of slowed down his body movement as that ball came up and hit him. Well, actually, as he jumped out of the way, and I couldn't see from our angle, but it looked like it hit him in the elbow as it finally came in on him. Near the elbow, right near the side. And he is hit, and the bases are loaded now. Cueto finally did something to himself to hurt his own cause. It's usually been his fielders.
Yeah, he did that when he was ahead in the count 1-2. Well, now Jason Bay, and certainly the Mets could use a big hit here because they could really spread a huge gap between the Mets and the Reds on the scoreboard. But I think Jason Bay needs one here just to relax himself.
Pitch on the way, and that one gets away from Hernandez up the third base side, but he'll get to the ball, and holding at third base is Beltran. He's the lead runner at third, right at second. Murphy the runner at first. Jason Bay struck out his first time, and he got a healthy dose of sliders that first time up. Mets baseball brought to you by RE/MAX of New York. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Visit RE/MAX.com today, your foreclosure and short sale experts. Bay trying to get some real estate here. Find an open avenue and bring in a couple of runs. The pitch, he swings at a fastball and fouls it. And actually bounces out onto the playing field, and Cueto in pursuit of that one, and tosses the ball away. We owe you a station identification. 10 seconds of the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Wayne Hagan, Howie Rose at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. The Mets have a 3-0 lead. They have the bases loaded. Bay at the plate. Here's the pitch. Fastball just low. 2-1. Well, Cueto once again goes to the rosin bag. In excess of 60 pitches already as he works in the third inning. They've already worn him out.
So have his fielders.
Ooh. He grimaces, and they're not even hit that hard. The set, the 2-1. Swing and a broken bat pop-up into right center field. Coming over is Stubbs, the center fielder, makes the catch. Tagging at third is Beltran. The throw comes through. He slides right by the catcher, puts his left hand on home plate, and has scored the run with the other runners moving up on the throw. Beautiful slide by Carlos Beltran, who read Hernandez. He didn't look at the throw. He looked at the catcher, got around him, and Hernandez never saw him. And he slides in beautiful.
It's a lost art, too, isn't it?
It really is. That was something to behold. That ball wasn't hit very deep. Beltran snuck by Hernandez, produces an RBI for Bay. The Mets have a 4-0 lead and could really break it open early here with Ronnie Paulino the batter. He struck out his first time. Here's the pitch and a slider, and it's chopped foul up the third base side. You know, there's one young player on this Mets ball club that took a page out of Beltran's book, and that was Justin Turner. He did that the other day, not coming around and putting the hand in, but reading the catcher and sliding on his other leg away from the catcher who is behind home plate. First time I've seen that from a young player in a long time. The 0-1 pitch, fastball outside. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Cueto not feeling it at all tonight. He had one good stretch where he struck out 4 in a row. His defenses betrayed him, and the Mets just keep coming after him. The pitch. Outside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Doing an off-speed pitch. Cueto knew that he walked into the game tonight against the Mets ball club with an ERA of over 8. He's halfway there now. The pitch. Swinging a bouncy ball to the left side. It is secured by Cairo. He throws and will get Paulino to end the inning. But the Mets able to score 2 runs on a total of 3 hits, an error, and 2 runners left on base. We'll go to the bottom of inning number 3. It's the Mets 4, the Reds nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets!
So a total of 4 unearned runs tonight for the Mets, taking full advantage of some miscues by the Reds, who have 2 errors on the board, but quite frankly could have 2 more to that total. One on Cairo and one on Jay Bruce. Ramon Hernandez will come up to the plate. So far, so very good for Nice. He has struck out 3. He has walked 1 man. He's had 1 base runner against him. Hernandez hitting .303, and the right-handed batter takes low, ball 1. 10 home runs, 26 driven in. And it will be Johnny Cueto's spot, and then Drew Stubbs. Nice delivers a fastball, strikes. Just an effortless delivery that he has to the plate. Started the season 0-3, and that was when he was getting some attention. People said, ooh, not so good. Remember, he ran out of gas last year in August? And he turned his season around this year. Pitch fouled away, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. He ran a little cutter in on his hands. But Nice has won 9 while losing 5 since. And I read a report today, like a preview about the game and how he didn't have his good stuff the last time out. That's nonsense. He did have good stuff in that start against St. Louis. He gave up that 2-run home run to Pujols on a bad pitch. Here's an off-speed pitch, racked up the middle, and into center field, a base hit right over the second base bag. So Hernandez waited on that off-speed pitch and gets the first hit of the night for Cincinnati. And Johnny Cueto can come up here and try to bunt him over.
There's a curveball by John Nice, and Hernandez shot it into center. So now Cueto won't be able to swing the bat. Now, why would that be a big deal, considering that, he's a guy who's 1 for 27 on the year? Well, he might be 1 for 27 on the season, but he had 2 hits in a game last year against Nice.
Cueto waits. Now he turns and bunts up the first base side, coming down off the mound to field it is Nice, and he lollipops the throw to first. Justin Turner is there, and the sacrifice is successful by Johnny Cueto. It goes 1-4. Say this for the Reds, they don't waste any time putting that bunt down. But they did a pretty good job of that last night with Mike Leake putting down 2 sacrifice bunts. Now it's Drew Stubbs. Stubbs grounded out to short on the game's first pitch that he saw offensively for the Reds. And remember last night, one of the unknown things about that game, there were so many different elements to it, but the Mets pitcher struck out 11 Reds last night. Here's a pitch, and that's a fastball strike in the inside corner, 0-1. Reds trying to peck away that 4-0 lead, enjoyed by Nice and the Mets. Runner at second base, but he's slow of foot. Ramon Hernandez, the pitch. Half swing, did he go around? They'll appeal to first. Wally Bell says, didn't see one here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Edgar Renteria's out on deck, and he's just now starting to pick it up offensively. Nice ready for the 1-1, and a curveball over for a strike. That was a backdoor curveball. Starts it outside and gets that outside corner call, and it's 1-2. The outfield is straight away. The infield's backed up right off the line, but he's protecting it as well. He can get there. The pitch, fastball, swung on and missed, and Stubbs strikes out for the second out. That's huge. 4 strikeouts for Nice. And here comes Renteria. Came in the game hitting just .234, plus only 1 home run. Infamous for 1 game on a Friday night at Yankee Stadium when he not only saw Roger Clemens for the Yankees win his 300th game, but he was the 4,000th strikeout. Same night. The pitch delivered low, ball 1. 1-0. Renteria just holding that bat. Here's the pitch to him, a swing and a foul back, and the count 1-1. He doesn't waste any time. He reminds me of Cairo a little bit in the sense that they're veterans. They don't do any extra movements. They don't take a lot of practice swings. They don't move the bat back and forth while they're in the batter's box. In fact, Renteria does something where he takes the bat and he comes up with his hands and then he lowers it. Then he comes back up again. It's kind of his little mechanism to hit. And he steps off the rubber for a moment. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reading the signs from Paulino. The target is set, and here comes the pitch. Slow curve, and that one's outside. Flipped a bit. 2-1.
Yeah, Nice actually shook out his pitching hand after he threw the ball. And I don't know if he had extra perspiration on it from sweat, and he might have had bother him, or I doubt anything hurt him.
Pitch on the way, fastball, that's lifted in the air to shallow right center. Coming in is Pridey. He's there, makes the two-handed grab, and the inning is over. So far, so very good for John Nice. No runs, a hit, and a man left on into the end of 3. It's the Mets 4, the Reds nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. We go to inning number 4. The Mets are leading by a count of 4-0. And it's the 4th inning. Time for the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Cars for Kids. That's Cars with a K. Donate your car today. Cars4Kids.com. Phillies leading 5-1 over San Francisco. Their rematch of the National League Championship Series, where, of course, the Giants prevailed in 6. Went on to the World Series. Tim Lincecum was scratched from that game because of the stomach flu. Mary Zito started for him. Zito's been pitching very well, but not tonight. Raul Ibanez, John Mayberry hit home runs. 5-1 Philly. Leading things off for the Mets is Jason Pridey, and he lays off a high riding pitch. Ball 1. 1-0. Pridey with a strikeout in his first at bat. Had a hit last night in a start for Angel Pagan. The pitch, fastball is low. 2 balls and no strikes. Emilio Bonifacio has a 24-game hitting streak. Had a 3rd inning double tonight. Florida leads 4-0 over Washington, bottom of the 4th. Ricky Nolasco pitching that game against Jordan Zimmerman. A swing and a miss. Off-speed pitch, and it's 2-1. Pridey looking out to Cueto, who gives him the back, and now the pitch, and a line drive into center field, base hit on a 2-1 count. Pridey takes that fastball and hits it into center field for a single to start things for the Mets. Second consecutive inning where they've had the leadoff man reach. It was an error in the 3rd inning. Jose Reyes reaching, and here's John Nice up here to bunt. Pittsburgh 3, Atlanta 1. That game is in the bottom of the 3rd. Jeff Karstens against Tommy Hansen. Cubs have scored twice in the top of the 1st at Milwaukee. Aramis Ramirez, a 2-run shot against Chris Narveson. The pitch delivered to the plate, and Nice did not offer at it, although the 3rd baseman and the 1st baseman coming in with the fastball too high. Nice looking down to Chip Hale, the 3rd base coach. Cairo several feet in on the grass at 3rd. Here's the pitch. He squares and he takes a strike. I think he thought that was a bit high. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. And Nice can't be doing too much of that body language action with Laz Diaz, because he's going to have to get those calls as a pitcher. Cueto ready and delivers. And it's bunted at and fouled away by Nice. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cairo still suspecting a bunt with Nice up there. So he stands on the grass. Chip Hale going through the signs again. Walking off to his lead at first is Pridey. Here's the pitch, and it's a breaky ball, bunted at and fouled away by Nice, and he's a strikeout victim. Well, he's going to have to get it better at that. That's going to be a big part of him either winning or losing games That one run could mean the difference. He has a 4-0 lead now, but you've got to play like it's a 0-0 game. So a strikeout. That's 5 now for Cueto, and that came the easy way. And here's Jose Reyes. 0 for 2, reached on an error and scored a run in inning number 3. Reyes has hit the ball in the air a lot in this series. 3 times he's hit the ball to the outfield. The pitch. Swinging a drive into center field. Stubbs is there. Back it just a little bit. Reaches up, makes the catch, and there are 2 outs. And Justin Turner coming up. Houston and St. Louis play again. Arizona's at San Diego. Colorado at Los Angeles. Clayton Kershaw, by the way, going for his 12th win in that one. Yankees leading 1-0 over Seattle in the bottom of the 5th. CC Sabathia in quest of his 15th win. Angels in Cleveland scoreless through 4. Baltimore 4, Toronto nothing, bottom of the 3rd. A throw to first, and diving back in safely is Pridey. J.J. Hardy hit his 15th home run in that game for Baltimore. Cueto still trying to bluff those runners back. He steps off almost violently and looks over to first base. Turner's 2 for 2 against him. The pitch. Breaking ball fouled off to the right. He threw him a slider and he fouled it away. Kansas City 4, Boston 2, bottom of the 3rd. At Fenway, Minnesota's going to be at Texas, and they are not looking forward to that. 20 runs, 27 hits last night for the Texas Rangers. The pitch. Fastball fouled back. 0-2 the count. Detroit's at Chicago. Tampa Bay's at Oakland on the rest of the schedule for you. Rangers are a mean ball club. That saw them in interleague play.
People are still mentioning them in the Carlos Beltran sweepstakes.
Carlos said today, I never said I would not go to the American League. I never said that. Throw over to first base and getting back in just ahead of that throw is Friday. He said, I will go to a contender. And he says, I did not say nationally. I said a contender. That means both leagues, for whatever that is worth. They set up outside to Turner. The pitch. Breaking ball is low. In fact, it hit the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One thing that's been proven by the knowing of 1 strike zone, Justin Turner doesn't swing in a lot of bad pitches like a lot of young players usually do. And that last pitch, the 0-2, was a waste pitch, but he was hoping to get a swing. 1 ball, 2 strikes the pitch. Fastball fouled away. And Turner does shorten up his stroke a little bit, usually with 2 strikes in the count, but that particular swing there was a big one. He takes big swings early in a count. But a nice find for the Mets. National League Rookie Player of the Month for May. 4-0 Mets leading. Cueto taking his time. Now delivers, and a fastball bounced on the ground, third base side. Try Wendy's new Wild Berry Frosty Parfait today, made with only the freshest berries picked at the peak of the season, or sip the new Wild Berry Frosty Shake for a limited time only. Cueto's really slowed it down here. Leadoff single by Pridey. Knee struck out. Now the runner goes, and a pitch is fouled back. That was a high-riding fastball, much to the delight of Turner, who likes to handle that ball, sending it the opposite way, but he fouled this one straight back.
He's having quite an at-bat here, though, because, you know, they've worked him in as well, and he's been able to fight those off. Never mind those pitches away that he's had success with 2 strikes in the past. You have to protect away, of course, but he's also been very aware in and wasted some good pitches.
Pitch to the plate. Foul down the right side. He took that off-speed pitch and sent it foul and remains at the plate and just keeps that pitch count going upward for this right-hander.
Is it ever? He's thrown 84 pitches, not yet out of the 4th inning. That's going to mean an early dip into the bullpen for Dusty Baker. And he used 4 relievers last night.
And that did not go well. Runner goes. The pitch popped up in the air to center field. Backing up with the play is Stubbs. He's there waiting. Makes the one-handed grab, and the inning will come to an end. No runs, 1 hit, 1 runner left on. Mets have stranded 4. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Mets 4, Cincinnati nothing on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets.
Defense has not been airtight tonight. The Mets have scored 4 runs on them, and all 4 are unearned on 6 hits. No runs but 1 hit for the Reds as they will send the heart of the order to the plate here in the bottom of the 4th inning. 1 hit belonging to Ramon Hernandez. 1 walk issued to Joey Votto. The only 2 base runners for the Reds, who trail this 4-zip. Votto will lead it off. Lefty versus lefty in the first pitch, and a fastball low, ball 1. When the Mets come to bat in the next inning, it's time for the Dodge Charger back-to-back home run giveaway. We'll tell you who the contestant is. The 1-0 pitch, that's a strike, and it's 1-1. If the Mets hit back-to-back home runs to lead off the 5th inning, no relation to Jose, but John Reyes from Brooklyn will win a Dodge Charger. Dodge never neutral. The 1-1 offering. It's a strike in the inside corner. Fastball. 1 ball and 2 strikes from John Neese facing Joey Votto. The Canadian who said he never got the hang of it skating. Always wanted to be a ball player. The 1-2 pitch and a protective swing, and he fouls it off. That's the kind of pitch that Rod Carew would fight off. A Tony Gwynn. Players of that ilk. Not nearly the home run numbers, the power numbers of a Joey Votto. What a great job to foul that last pitch off and at least get 1 more. The 1-2 pitch, breaking ball, lifted in the air to left, coming on his bay, and it greets him into his glove as that ball came right to him for out number 1. Here comes Brandon Phillips. Believe it or not, the Mets do return home to Citi Field Monday night at 7:10. They'll start a 10-game homestand against the Marlins, the Braves, and then that team from the National League West, the San Diego Padres. Get to Mets.com for your tickets. Take the train to the ballpark, as mass transit is the faster, easier, and greener way to Citi Field. Brandon Phillips, a strikeout victim his first time. The pitch on the way. He swings and hits it in the air down the right field line. That's going to get away from Beltran. He comes to the line, fields it on a couple of bounces, comes up throwing on 1 hop into the shortstop. Reyes right at the bag, and settling with an off-field single is Brandon Phillips.
Beltran knew he had no chance to get to the ball, but he had every intention of surrounding it to make sure that Phillips couldn't even think about going to second base, and Beltran did that perfectly. His body was instantly in position to throw, and once Phillips saw that, he had no choice but to hang on at first.
Brandon Phillips now 5 for 9 lifetime against Neese, and that includes a couple of home runs. Jay Bruce, the hitter, and he swings at the first offering, a fastball, and fouls it back to the screen, 0-1. He struck out his first time. Mets 4, Reds nothing if you just tuned in. 1 out, runner at first, the pitch. Bruce takes a fastball right down the middle for a strike, 0-2. Bruce is a big guy. And yes, he did spend most of his life growing up as a first baseman. Now he's an outfielder. The pitch, and he tops it foul, came up and hit him, it looked like, on the left side of the face. He doesn't have an ear flap on that left side. And that came up, kind of popped him, it looked like. We'll take a look at a replay. Well, he's lucky it hit the bill of the helmet just where it goes from the front part of it to the ear. And again, it doesn't have an ear flap over the ear. He's fortunate he didn't get hit in the face. The 0-2, and he swings at a fastball, lofts a foul and out of play.
If you look at pictures of baseball hitters in the 60s and I guess most of the 70s, I can't remember exactly when the rule came into existence. They didn't have an ear flap on either side. It was just the regular helmet. And eventually it was mandated that you had to have your front side covered with an ear flap.
Runner goes, the pitch swung on and missed, but Ronnie Paulino had no idea he took off and didn't even defend against him. He ultimately threw, but it was about a week and a half late, and Phillips has a stolen base. Ronnie Paulino, it's almost as if he never saw him. Now, I know Bruce is a big target in that batter's box, but Paulino never knew he took off, and it was a very late throw. But Bruce strikes out for the second out of the inning, and Chris Heisey is going to be the hitter. That was odd on the part of Paulino, who was a veteran catcher. So Phillips steals the bag. He's at second, and Neese bluffs him back. For Phillips, just his 7th steal. So not a guy that's going to be taking off a lot. Played over 100 games so far. They have the Reds. But just 7 steals. Now the pitch. Just missing outside. Ball 1. 1-0. Fastball's been a good first pitch strike tonight for John Neese. One of the Reds very good against left-handed pitchers. 284, that's the highest average in baseball. The pitch low, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Yet another fastball. Neese had a base runner on in the first inning, also in the third, but left him stranded. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 2-1 the count. Neese kicks away at some of the dirt out in front of the rubber. He's been in control of this game. Stares in. Barely moves. Comes set. The pitch. Swinging a line drive. Base hit out over the leaping shortstop, Jose Reyes. Around third and heading home is Phillips. He's going to score on a 2-out single by Chris Heisey as he scorched that to left field. Right over Reyes. And it's a 4-1 game.
And that stolen base really comes back to hurt the Mets. Don't know whether or not Paulino would have had a chance to throw out Brandon Phillips if he'd recognized immediately that Phillips was running, but we'll never know. The end result is the Reds get a run out of it.
Oh, you just shouldn't be caught by surprise by anybody attempting a steal, especially when somebody is striking out and you could have a strikeout, throw-out, double play possibility. Now Miguel Cairo. Bounced to short his first time, lays off the pitch, and it's low, ball 1, a little cutter. 1-0 to count. Cairo doing something interesting, stepping out. Mark Berry going through some signs. That's Heisey at first base. The pitch, swinging a ground ball to shortstop. Reyes has it, goes the short route. They get the out, and his waiting there at second base was Turner. 6-4 in the fielder's choice on Cairo. Heisey is out at second, but the Reds are on the board. 1 run, 2 hits, and a man left on. At the end of 4, it's a 4-1 Mets lead on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Inning number 5 has arrived on your radio. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Mets. 1, 3, and 2 the totals for the Reds. And so far, Johnny Cueto and John Neese have gotten different results, Howie, on balls hit on the ground or even in the air.
No, the Mets have caught the ball. The Reds haven't. That pretty much sums it up. And partial result is that it's cost Cueto 85 pitches through 4 innings, which is a heap of throwing. Carlos Beltran leads off the 5th, batting left-handed. The first pitch, breaking ball, pulled on the ground towards first, backhanded by a sliding Votto, and he flips to the pitcher, covering in time for the out as Cueto got to the bag in plenty of time. It's a nice play by Joey Votto. 1 pitch and 1 out here in the 5th inning. That will bring up David Wright as we come to you live from the Peerless Boilers broadcast booth. Visit peerlessboilers.com for a dealer near you. And this 5th inning is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy. 5-Hour Energy fixes tired fast. 1 shot, back to work, problem solved. Visit 5hourenergy.com today. David Wright, 1 out of 2. As a ground ball out that drove in a run and singled under the glove of third baseman Miguel Cairo. First pitch by Cueto, a slider low outside, 1-0. Well, here we are at 8:35 and still some blue sky overhead, which means that within the next 5-10 minutes, and almost as we speak, really, twilight takes effect. 1-0, another breaking ball in the dirt, 2 balls and no strikes. And we saw one fielder in particular, Todd Frazier, who played first base for the Reds last night, have trouble with a ball hit in the air during twilight. Lights, of course, are on, but still some daylight. And the 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball on the inside corner, strike one. So I've still got that nice view of northern Kentucky out behind the Ohio River, which sits immediately behind the outfield seats there at Great American Ballpark. Pretty little park. And the Mets leading 4-1. Here's the 2-1 pitch to right. And that breaking ball high, ball 3. So 3-1 to David with Daniel Murphy on deck. Johnny Cueto goes to the rosin bag. And again, on a warm, humid night, you need that rosin to help keep your hand reasonably dry. 3-1 line to short. Played on a short hop by Renteria, and he throws to first in time to get right. 2 away. Nice play by Edgar Renteria. That ball looked like it had some spin on it, and Renteria handled it easily. It's 2 out, nobody on, and Murphy coming up. Geico can help you save on more than just car insurance. Call 1-800-947-AUTO for a free quote on motorcycle, renter's insurance, and more. And don't worry, Geico won't throw a flag for excessive celebration. Well, here's Murphy, who singled in a run and was hit by a pitch. Cueto delivers, fastball high, 1-0. Mets leading 4-1 with 2 out, nobody on here in the 5th inning. At Yankee Stadium, the Yankees leading the Mariners 3-0. CC Sabathia perfect through 5 1/3 innings. The 1-0 swung on and missed a slider, 1 ball, 1 strike. He had struck out 7 straight batters, and then rain came, and they're in a rain delay. So who knows whether he's going to be able to go out and resume his quest for a perfect game. And he's 3 away from Seaver's record for consecutive strikeouts with 10. 1-1 pitch and a breaking ball high, 2 balls and a strike to Murphy. But never mind that, it's an official game, and that means the Mariners are in significant trouble again. 2-1 pitch, change up, and that's low, ball 3. Mariners have lost 16 in a row after playing reasonably well for about the first 2.5 months of the year. People were talking about what a refreshing bounce back they were in the midst of after a poor season last year. 3-1 pitch. Fastball fouled off to the left out of play. Full count. And I'd like to be the Chicago White Sox. Remember years ago, they unloaded some players around the trade deadline when they were in the hunt in the American League Central. Talking about the same thing. They're 3.5 back. They've won 3 in a row. Now the payoff pitch to Murphy. Fastball hit on the ground to third. Gobbled up by Cairo. Throws to first in time. Side retired. And for the first time in this game, Johnny Cueto pitches a perfect inning. Middle of the 5th, 4-1 New York on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
4-1 Mets as we go to the bottom half of the 5th inning. The in-game summary is brought to you by Metro PCS. Now buy any phone and get one free. Restrictions apply. See store for details. Metro PCS wireless for all. Mets with 2 in the 1st inning, helped out by shoddy Cincinnati defense. And 2 more in the 3rd, and the Reds had some defensive problems there as well. Reds have made 2 errors in this game. There have been 2 more balls that should have been fielded cleanly that were not. Conceivably, they could have 4 errors in this game. And so with the Mets up 4-1, Ramon Hernandez leads off against John Neese. And the lefty's first pitch, a fastball high outside, 1-0. Johnny Cueto is out on deck to hit for himself. And then Drew Stubbs for the Reds here in the 5th inning. That's about hit Cincinnati 6-3. And the 1-0 pitch on the way. Off the outside corner. 2 balls and no strikes. The outfield straight away against the right-hand hitting Hernandez. And now the 2-0 pitch right down the middle of fastball, 2-1. Tomorrow night, Mike Pelfrey will face Bronson Arroyo. Arroyo is always tough on the Mets. Neese from the third base side of the rubber delivers 2-1 way outside a fastball. 3 balls and 1 strike. Bronson Arroyo is 7-2 lifetime against the Mets. So 3-1 to Hernandez. The pitch inside and low, a fastball, ball 4. And so for the second time, that means that Johnny Cueto will have an opportunity to bunt a runner into scoring position. It's the second walk allowed in this game by John Neese. Cueto sacrificed 1-4 his first time up. Cueto looking down at third base coach Mark Berry, although I don't think there's any mystery here with nobody out that he'll try and bunt the runner up. Reds don't often play for just 1 run, especially in this ballpark. Cueto squares, bunts nicely up the first base line. Neese off the mound to grab it and throws to first. Turner covers, and that moves Hernandez to second. Another perfectly sacrificed bunt by Cueto, 1-4. And that moves Hernandez to second for Drew Stubbs. We talked about the fact that you don't often play for 1 run in this ballpark. And we mentioned that specifically because this has historically been a home run hitter's haven. Well, last night there were no home runs hit here, nor were there 2 nights ago, or 3 nights ago, I should say. And last night was the 700th game that they played in this ballpark. Pitch to Stubbs, lined over second base. That's going to fall into center field. Base hit. Hernandez will be held at third. Pride's throw in overshoots the cutoff man Murphy, and that'll allow Stubbs to go to second. Well, Hernandez is a slow runner, and Pride has to know that. So on a ball that was not going to be fielded very deep in center field by Pride, there wasn't much chance of Hernandez being asked to try to score. So that throw has got to be in position where it could be cut off. And he simply threw it over the leaping Daniel Murphy all the way through to the plate. And that allows Stubbs to get into scoring position. That's just a bad mistake by Jason Pride. So now the Reds with runners at second and third. And the batter will be Edgar Renteria, and he'll represent the tying run at the plate. Well, last night there was a ball that was cut off that didn't need to be. This one certainly should have been. So here is Renteria, 0 for 2, right-hand batter. And the first pitch on the way, a curveball outside, 1 ball and no strikes. But anyway, we were talking about this ballpark and the fact that last night was the 700th game that they played here. Only 59 of those have been played without a home run. Here's the 1-0 on the way. Cutter inside and low. 2 balls and no strikes. That's our Inside the Numbers, brought to you by the New York State Smokers Quit Line. Call 1-866-NY-QUITS for help quitting today. You can figure out the reason why, I'm sure. The 2-0 on the way. Hit on the ground towards first. Fair ball, well beyond the reach of Murphy, and down the right field line. It hits the sidewall. 2 runs will score. First Hernandez, now Stubbs, and pulling into second, standing with a ground ball double, is Edgar Renteria, and the Mets lead is cut to 4-3. Well, against the right-hand batter, Murphy was just too far off the line at first base to have any kind of a chance on that little ground ball that hugged the line and just missed hitting the first base bag and hit off the sidewall, caromed into short right field. So now the tying run is at second base with 1 man out, and Joey Votto coming up, and that brings Dan Warthen, the Mets pitching coach, out of the dugout and out to the mound.
Well, having spoken about this particular ballpark and the way it jumps out, it's only 328 down the left field line, 325 to right. That's shorter than most ballparks. 404 straightaway center, 370 to the power alley in right center, 379 to left center. I truly believe that you're going to see a change next year with Citi Field. And I think part of it is not something we've talked about. Lowering the left field fence from 16 feet. I think you may see that.
Well, the only problem then is, are you going to have a line right across the wall, and anything above it's a home run and anything below it is in play? Those become rather dicey. Of course, you do have the video replay. But here's Votto and a fastball low, 1-0. It'd be nice if that could be reconfigured a little bit. That was mentioned since day one when Citi Field opened, that they sort of reserved the right to do that. But right now, with Renteria in scoring position, a 1-0 count to Joey Votto, an outstanding hitter. The pitch hit high in the air to left field, pretty deep. Back goes Bay at the track near the wall. It's gone. A 2-run opposite field home run for Joey Votto. And the Cincinnati Reds have taken a 5-4 lead. It's a 4-run 5th inning for Cincinnati.
Another quick and big inning against John Neese. And it happened with a leadoff walk to the number 8 hitter.
Now, looked like a cutter that Votto simply stayed on. The pitch, though, was up and had the outside part of the plate. And that's what makes Joey Votto such an outstanding hitter. His plate coverage is phenomenal. Up, down, in, out. And he takes that one the other way, and the Reds are out in front 5-4. So here's Brandon Phillips. First pitch, curveball, and that's high, 1-0. So a 4-run inning here.
A couple of beach balls are on the field in right along the warning track and at the wall. 2 of them all the way from Dodger Stadium made their way to Cincinnati, and the ball boy will take care of that. Now Dusty Baker's talking to Las Diaz. The reason being is that what happened on that first pitch, the curveball it missed. Now, I don't know why Dusty would argue. It was a ball in the count. But Brandon Phillips stepped away because he saw those 2 balls on the field and gave that attention to those beach balls and gave up on that pitch, but it was a ball.
And it's up to Las Diaz to call time. The pitch taken low, 1 ball, and
well,
it should be 2 ago. They took it off the board. Well, then they're going to say that time was called, I guess.
Yeah, but we got to see Las Diaz help us out and give us.
There was no indication whatsoever.
None.
On the board, it says 1-0 now. And Neese deals a fastball that hits the inside corner. So until we're told otherwise, we'll just go with the scoreboard count of 1 ball and 1 strike. But there's got to be time called from one of the umpires, either the home plate ump or one of the base umpires who sees those balls. 1-1 curveball hit on the ground, back to the mound, reaching up to grab it is Neese, and he throws to first in time, 2 out. You know, if Phillips is asking for time, or the hitter is asking for time, whoever it is, then it's up to the home plate umpire whether he wants to give it to him or not. And if any of the other umpires spot that ball, they can call timeout on their own, but didn't look like any of them did, and it doesn't matter now. 2 out, nobody on for Jay Bruce. So 4 runs are in. And the Reds have a 5-4 lead in a game the Mets led 4-0. First pitch to Bruce, fastball low, 1-0. And now again, a beach ball gets loose onto the warning track in right center field. Nobody sees it, and the 1-0 pitch. Fastball outside, 2-0. And that ball continues to sit on the warning track, undetected until now. Jason Pridey has located it, and he's going to go pick it up.
Don't throw it back in there. Oh, he threw it over the fence back into the crowd. It's going to end up back on the field again.
Well, he may just be using that to get a workout. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Fastball hit on the ground to first. Fielded at the chute tops, deep behind the bag by Murphy. Runs to first in time, side retired. However, the Reds scored 4 runs on 3 hits. No errors, nobody left. The end of 5. It's Cincinnati 5, New York 4 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Certainly been anything but a clean game, although it was looking pretty spotless for the Mets when they had a 4-0 lead. The Reds have not handled the ball well. The Mets guilty of a poor defensive play as Jason Pridey overthrew a cutoff man, which ultimately led to 1 run scoring on a base hit. Might not have mattered anyway with Joey Votto hitting the home run. Votto with a big hit has given the Reds a 5-4 lead as we go to the 6th inning, Wayne.
Thank you, Howie. We came away mightily impressed on that home run the opposite way. Now Jason Bay leads it off, and he takes the first offering. It's off speed low, ball 1. That's right around the changeup area as far as miles per hour at 80. Throwing him a lot of sliders tonight. Here's a fastball low, and it's quickly 2-0 on Jason Bay. A sacrifice fly his last time up. That's when the Mets put 2 runs on the board in the 3rd inning. They had built a 4-0 lead. Now it's gone. 5-4, they trail it. The pitch, fastball, too high, and it's 3-0. That's not the way you come out and want to pitch after your team just got 4 runs to give you the lead. But Cueto's falling behind, and Bay, a very good leadoff man in his own way. The pitch, inside ball 4. I can't tell you how many times I've seen him walk over the last few years, leading off an inning. It gives you good at bat. There are times when it hasn't paid dividends with runners in scoring position, but as a leadoff man, he gets on base a lot. Now Ronnie Paulino, and he can pop one over the wall here at any juncture at this ballpark. But even Paulino has been a bit of an enigma. He's played a lot, probably more than he thought he was going to play, and he's hit just 1 home run. And he takes the slider low and away, ball 1. Just 1 home run.
Do you remember that home run? That should have been about 3 home runs that was hit so far in Milwaukee.
Ooh. That was a monster shot. Aroldis Chapman starts to loosen up in the bullpen. We can hear him warm up because he's hitting the glove at 105. The 1-0 pitch. That's over for a strike, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. Jason Pride's on deck. So Cueto weathered a bit of a storm early. His defense betrayed him. 4 unearned runs, and he hung in there. He's put the Mets down the last 2 innings. Pitch fouled away. Paulino got a fastball in on his thumbs. Bay, the runner at first. He represents the tying run. Both teams are even in the hits department. Both teams with 6. Cueto set to the belt. Here's his pitch. Breaking ball hit down to 3rd and off the glove of Cairo. It rolls slowly towards the left field line. Coming into field, it is the left fielder, Heisey. He throws to second, and just getting in safely at second base is Ronnie Paulino. And Brandon Phillips, who took that throw and applied the tag, can't believe it. Ronnie Paulino took an extra base because that ball was trying, at least on the part of the third baseman, an attempt to backhand the ball with that big glove and start a double play, and Cairo misplayed it. And as it hit off his glove and slowed down and left, the Mets taking some liberties, and they get a 2-base error.
3rd error for the Reds, the 5th one they could have been charged with. And, you know, again, we talk about this all the time with guys playing those balls off to the side nowadays because of the big glove. If he gets in front of that ball, he's probably got a double play. The way Paulino runs.
And the way it was hit, you're absolutely right. The easy out was Bay at second because the ball was hit so hard. But just an amazing bit of lack of defense behind Cueto. It's just an amazing thing. And Brian Price, the pitching coach, is out again. He's been out a couple of times tonight and trying to keep Cueto's head in the game. Well, the Mets have the tying run 90 feet away. As we mentioned, they've already scored 4 unearned runs. And now it's Jason Pride trying to make up for that throw into the plate that allowed the runner to take an additional base going first to second on him. This game really is a game of atonement. Pride so far in the game has struck out and he has singled. Well, Cueto works out of the stretch, the infield playing back. The only one shortened up is the third baseman. Here's a swing and a miss. He threw him an off-speed pitch, and Jason Pride took the bait on that one. That was a pitch that was so low, he had no chance of hitting it. But he had made up his mind he was going to get a fastball and didn't. Cueto ready. Here's his pitch. And a swing and a bounty ball foul off to the right. He came back with a very hittable fastball down the middle.
And Lucas Duda has come out on deck to bat for John Neese.
Well, Terry Collins sensing that he needs an inning that's going to be big on the scoreboard. Not just to overtake the Reds at this moment. The pitch. Fastball is very high, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. You play for big innings in this ballpark.
And along with that, I think in this game, the way it's gone, the Mets need to be extremely aggressive on the bases. Make the Reds handle the ball.
The 1-2 pitch. Fastball is high, and it's 2-2. You know, one thing that the Mets have not done much of in this series, and they won last night, not running much. I think Cueto's done a pretty good job of trying to keep those runners as close to first base as possible. When Reyes was there, he threw over there constantly. Even on the count, 2-2, the pitch. Fastball, that's ripped to right. That's a base hit. In to score from third will be Jason Bay to tie it. Paulino coming around third. He'll score, and the throw goes into second base. Renteria applies the tag, but Pridey slides in under that tag. It's a 2-run double, and the Mets have overtaken Cincinnati again to the tune of a 6-5 score.
Well, Angel Pagan's supposed to get the day off tomorrow. I'm sorry, Angel Pagan's supposed to play tomorrow. They gave him the extra day today when he checked out okay physically. But Pridey now with 2 hits. I wonder if that might make Terry Collins rethink things. Here comes Dusty Baker, and that's going to be it for Johnny Cueto, who made his own problems too, Wayne, by walking the leadoff batter.
Absolutely, just like Neese did in the bottom of the 5th. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Wayne Hagan along with Howie Rose. 1 earned run so far, but still responsible for the runner at second base is Johnny Cueto. And he now gives up the ball to Aroldis Chapman. You know all about him. A Cuban defector, 2-0, but an ERA at 4.44. It'll mark his 30th appearance. He had some shoulder problems earlier this year, but in 26 1/3 innings, he has struck out 38. The league hitting just 110 against him, but the thing that gets him is 24 walks in those 26 1/3 innings. Something that has to be put into the mind of Lucas Duda, as Chapman will now face him.
Yeah, Duda's going to love this, won't he? Left-hand batter against this lefty.
Ouch. So a runner at second base. The Mets leading 6-5. Still nobody out here in inning number 6. Chapman comes set. He looks to second. Duda might start his swing now. The pitch is a fastball over for a strike, and the count 0-1. It's only at 97. He's just getting loose.
I was wondering if this was going to be Randy Johnson pitching to John Kruk in the All-Star game.
Oh, my.
One of the funniest moments in All-Star history.
Here comes the 0-1 from Chapman. As he eyes the runner at second, now brings it home, and a swing and a miss. He threw him a hard slider at 86 miles an hour, and Duda took a rip. Duda, a big man. He's a big target up there at 6'4", 254 pounds. Hitting .277. Chapman again eyes the runner at second. Here's the pitch, and a fastball blazes just low at 100 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Mets have Bobby Parnell, and they've seen him throw hard, but the results aren't always there for these hard throwers. They've got to find a way to keep it inside the strike zone instead of walking people. 1-2 offering, and a fastball up and in.
And you mentioned Bobby Parnell. Apparently he's going to be the closer tonight if the Mets get to that point in this game. Terry Collins said beforehand that he wanted to give Jason Isringhausen the night off between 30 pitches last night, and the hip being tweaked on that crazy play at first base with Murphy.
Short lead at second by Pridey. Really short lead, and it still gets the attention of Chapman, who steps off the rubber. I mean, that is as short a lead as you can have at second base. Honestly, there's nobody near him. Edgar Renteria is standing there trying to cast a shadow on him, but he really backs up with Duda up there. The 2-2 pitch outside. He threw another fastball and missed badly. So it's 3-2. Something we talked about as Chapman came in this ballgame, his wildness. Just think if he can harness that. Waiting for the sign from Hernandez. Catcher now sets the target. And a 3-2 pitch coming to Lucas Duda. Instead, turning and kind of spinning awkwardly on the rubber was Chapman. And again, Pridey back to second base. He's not He's not a real threat here. And again, I can't tell you how short his lead is at second base. Here's the 3-2. Fastball swung on and missed. They got him with a 98-mile-per-hour heater. He took a little off to get it. And Duda strikes out in a pinch hit roll, and Jose Reyes says, I'm going up right-handed. The out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Acela Express, where you can plug in and work or sit back and relax. Book now at Amtrak.com. They're in the 8th inning at Philadelphia. Phillies leading 6-1 over the Giants. With Bañez, Mayberry, Utley have hit home runs. Utley, an inside-the-park home run. Florida out in front, 5-1 over Washington. Bottom of the 6th inning is the veteran catcher Ramon Hernandez went out for a brief chat. Go over what they want to do with Reyes with Chapman. Reyes tonight is 0 for 3. He's had 1 hit so far in 8 trips to the plate in this series. Proddy at second base. Mets leading 6-5. We're in the top of the 6th inning. There's 1 out. Chapman took too long. Time requested and granted by Laz Diaz at home plate for Jose Reyes. It's a pretty good idea. Break up the little rhythm or whatever rhythm there is for Chapman. There's one thing. He is preoccupied with Proddy at second base. Left-hander comes set. Now doesn't even look to second. And a fastball drilled in the air to left field. Going back on the ball is Heisey. He's underneath it, backpedaling, makes the catch, and Proddy retreats to second. Thought about tagging, but can't. So Reyes hit the ball off the end of the bat and flies to left, and that'll bring up Justin Turner. I'll guarantee you one thing that's going to be fun here is that Chapman's going to be throwing hard, and Turner's going to be swinging hard. He walked to home plate with a smile on his face as he said something to Ramon Hernandez.
Probably said, if you thought it hurt getting hit in the thigh last night, wait till you get plunked by this guy if he hits you.
Turner is 2 for 3 tonight. He has scored a run. He could drive in 1 here. 6 runs on 7 hits for the Mets, 5 runs on 6 hits for the Reds. Chapman delivers, and a fastball blazes low, ball 1 at 99. He's only thrown 1 at 3 digits. Pittsburgh and Atlanta 3-3. Pirates had a 3-0 lead in that game. Atlanta scored 3 in the 3rd. 3-2, Milwaukee leads Chicago in the top half of inning number 3. Here's a 1-0 pitch. Fastball low and outside. 2-0. St. Louis 2, Houston nothing at the end of 2. 2-run home run by Albert Pujols, his 23rd. He's never hit fewer than 30 home runs in a season. He's 7 away. Arizona, San Diego, Colorado at L.A. 2-0 pitch. A swing and a foul back. He was right on that 98-mile-per-hour heater. He was up a bit. Turner fouled it straight back. Yankees leading 3-0 over Seattle. Curtis Granderson has hit a home run in that game. That's his 28th of the year. CC Sabathia going for his 15th win. They had a rain delay, and he is perfect through 6. They have resumed play. 2-1 pitch. Fastball down the middle for a strike at 98.
Sabathia's strikeout streak ended at 7 in that game. Right after the rain delay, popped up the next hitter. But the perfect game remains in play.
Mariners have to be talking to themselves in that dugout. Things have not gone well for them. 2-2 pitch. Outside. He threw him an off-speed pitch at 92, and he missed. He didn't get a swing, and it's 3-2.
Well, I guess when you've lost 16 games in a row, the last thing you want to see is CC Sabathia the way he's been going.
Boy, the last time we saw something like that happen was in June, and the Marlins manager resigned. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him with a slider. A 3/4 swing by Turner. Chapman gets out of the inning without any further damage, but the Mets did score 2 runs. There was 1 hit. It was big, a 2-run double by Jason Pridey, and he was the runner left on base. So the error in the inning was big. We go to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 6-5 in favor of the Mets of the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets! F-A-N!
New York Baseball tonight brought to you by Dodge and your local Dodge dealer. Fall in love with driving again. Go to Dodge.com to see their latest offers in the 2011 lineup. They are Dodge and they are never neutral. Well, it's a long way to go in this one. Manny Acosta comes in. No record. 5.63 ERA, and this will mark his 16th appearance. So for John Nee, it's at least a glimmer of hope. Despite giving up 5 runs, he still has a chance to win this game. But the bullpen's going to have to bring it home. Chris Heisey will lead it off, and Acosta delivers a fastball low, ball 1.
It makes sense that Acosta gets the first call because he pitched his best baseball as a Met 2 days ago in Florida. 2 perfect, aggressive innings.
Here's the 1-0. Fastball ties him up in knots. A swing and a miss, and it's 1-1.
He was outstanding on Sunday. Clearly the best he's thrown the ball.
One of the little problems so far for Acosta is keeping the ball in the ballpark. He has surrendered 4 home runs in just 16 innings, and this is not a conducive ballpark for him. He turns and throws a beautiful curveball over for a called strike, and it's 1-2. Oh, I like that pitch. He's got a good assortment of pitches. He doesn't just throw the fastball, the changeup. He'll go to slider. He'll go curveball. Heisey's 1 out of 2 with an RBI single. Here's the 1-2 and a fastball ripped in the air to deep right field. Going back is Beltran in front of the wall to haul it in. Ooh, 1 out.
Again, that's the area of this ballpark where the ball travels best, to right and right center.
So 1 away. Boy, that fastball was up and out over the plate. And these hitters for the Reds have learned all about that wind current, and they don't have a problem taking that ball to right. Brandon Phillips did that Sunday night against the Braves. So here's Miguel Cairo, who is 0 for 2 and has not had a great night defensively over at third base. 6-5 Mets. The pitch. Ground ball pushed to the second baseman. Turner has it. Takes a couple of steps towards first. Unloads his throw and gets Cairo. And 2 outs for Manny Acosta. And now Ramon Hernandez coming up. Baltimore leading 7-4 over Toronto. That game's in the 5th inning. J.J. Hardy has hit 2 home runs in that game. He's got 16. Hill and Lind have also homered. And it is 7-5 in favor of Kansas City at Fenway. Ball's flying out of there. Alex Gordon, Billy Butler have hit home runs. That game's in the 4th. Minnesota 3, Texas 2 at the end of 2. Acosta working to Ramon Hernandez. And he throws an off-speed pitch. It gets off the catcher's mitt. Ronnie Paulino to the backstop. Ramon Hernandez has been a little pest in the side of the Mets, no doubt. A single in the 3rd inning. A leadoff walk and what turned out to be a 4-run 5th when the Reds took the lead. They didn't have it for long. Number 23. 2 outs, nobody on. Bottom of the 6th inning. And a breaking ball. That's a soft liner over the outstretched glove of the leaping second baseman, Justin Turner. And it goes on into right field for a base hit. Well, Ramon Hernandez 2 for 2 and a walk tonight. And here comes the pinch hitter. Well, it's been an interesting run. We had Johnny Gomes in the lineup. And just before, right before game time, he was scratched. And Yonder Alonso coming up from AAA Louisville, hitting .296 there, 12 home runs and 56 driven in. So he's earned this right. But Gomes traded to the Nationals just before game time. Alonso, a left-handed batter. Here's the pitch from Acosta. And a breaking ball is low, ball 1. 6 runs on 7 hits for the Mets, 5 runs on 7 hits for the Reds. But one alarming statistic, 3 errors committed by the Reds. It could be 2 more at least in this game. Acosta delivers in a rip job down the right field line. That is a fair ball into the corner. Played back in by Beltran. Going to third and holding there is the slow-footed Ramon Hernandez, and into second base, Yonder Alonso, as he gets a hit in his first at bat with the Reds. He picked up right where he left off in Louisville.
Beltran's throw from right field went past the first cutoff man, Justin Turner, but was backed up by Murphy. And again, there was no need to rush anything with Hernandez running from first, a very slow runner. So he stops at third, and now Dan Warthen's out to the mound because the Reds have runners at second and third, and Drew Stubbs coming up, a left-hand batter.
Just amazing how things work out. It looked like Manny Acosta was going to breeze through the inning, but Ramon Hernandez hit that one just off the end of the bat and got that soft liner out beyond Justin Turner. Alonso just absolutely smoked that baseball down the right field line, and here comes Drew Stubbs, who is no picnic for any pitcher. He is 1 for 3 tonight. Well, the Reds, a team that had a whole lot of comeback wins last year. It hasn't been nearly the year for comebacks in 2011. And a base hit here, and they reclaim the lead. It may be one of those nights where we go back and forth. Acosta with the arm dangling down as he looks in for the sign. Comes set, looks to third. Now he kicks and he fires at a fastball fouled away at the plate. Strike one. Alonso, 23 years of age. Got 6 hits and 29 at-bats last year for Cincinnati, and comes up and gets a hit in his first at-bat today, coming up from AAA. That's a good way to start. Off to his lead at second. Hernandez at third. Acosta's pitch swung on and missed. Boy, that fastball absolutely just darted away from this right-handed hitter. At 97 miles an hour on the radar gun. So he's ahead 0-2. Stubbs, as we have talked about, strikes out an awful lot. He has struck out tonight 134 times. Here's the 0-2. Fastball swung on and missed. He challenged him, and he got it. So Acosta gets through the inning unscathed. No runs, 2 hits. Those 2 runners were left in scoring position, and at the end of 6, it's the Mets 6, the Reds 5 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Wayne Hagan, Howie Rose, coming to you live from the Peerless Boilers broadcast booth here in Cincinnati. Remember, Peerless builds America's best boilers. The Mets are leading by a score of 6-5. Nick Massett now on. He's 1-4, 3.31 ERA. Another guy who can strike out his fair share. 47 strikeouts in 49 innings, but he too has fallen victim to base on ball itis. He's walked 23. He'll be facing Carlos Beltran, who tonight has an RBI single. He has scored twice. He's 1 for 3. He wears number 15, and in just 15 minutes you can save 15% or more on your car insurance. Visit geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO today for your free rate quote. Hit a home run with Geico. Massett involved in that Ken Griffey Jr. trade, coming over from Chicago as Jr. went there and then promptly finished his career in Seattle. Said he didn't even talk to the manager, Don Wakamatsu, the last 10 days he was a Mariner. Got in his car and drove 43 hours to Orlando, Florida, and retired. He let the Mariners know about Idaho on his trip home. Here's Carlos Beltran taking the pitch over for a strike, 0-1, a 93-mile-per-hour fastball. Beltran, Wright, and Murphy here in inning number 7. The Mets with a 1-run lead, 6-5. Massett, a big man, delivers. And he misses low and inside. 6'4", 238 pounds. He is 29 years of age. He turned 29 in May. Feet close together, working for the first base side of the rubber, builds into his motion and brings it home. And it's low and inside. 2-1. On a little changeup there at 87 miles an hour, brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Switch to Roadrunner Broadband Turbo and hit warp speed every time you go online. Right-hander back with a 2-1 offering. And a swing and a foul off the foot of Beltran. Rolls over into foul territory, 2-2. Mets built a 4-0 lead through 3 innings. Reds got a run in the 4th. Took the lead with 4 in the bottom of the 5th. Mets came right back with 2 of their own in the 6th inning, and that's where we are now. 6-5 Mets, but we've advanced to the 7th. Massett brings it home, and a curve low and inside. 3-2 for Carlos Beltran. This could be a dangerous pitch in this ballpark. 3-2 pitch, curveball, fouled away. Good job by Beltran to be able to spoil that one off. His last home run was on the 20th, 6 days ago, a 2-run shot. That was hit against St. Louis in a 6-5 Mets win. Well, Massett tried to go to a breaking ball to get him out. Didn't work. Now he prepares for a 3-2 pitch, and here she comes. Another curve, and that bounces to the plate, and he's walked the leadoff man. Second walk of the night, but the 2 that have been issued in the last 2 innings, each to a leadoff man. That scored Jason Bay in the 6th inning, the tying run at that point. And here comes David Wright. A ground ball out to short in the 1st inning, brought in his 25th RBI, an infield hit, and he has grounded out to short.
Mets bullpen is quiet right now, which means they'll probably want one more inning out of Acosta if they can get it. And, of course, mix and match with Burdack, and then go to Beato and Parnell if necessary.
Outfield straight away, and the fastball lined into left center field. That's a base hit. Coming over to pick it up is the center fielder Stubbs, taking the turn at second, trying to force a throw is Beltran. He won't get that throw. And now throwing into the shortstop is Stubbs. So good job to get to that ball in a hurry and cut it off in the gap in left center field. It was never a threat for that ball to get through the 2 outfielders, but it was a good job by Stubbs to come in and field it fast so he could keep Beltran at second base.
2 more hits for David Wright in this game. So he's 10 for 23 since coming back last Friday night.
He's been amazing. Now the Mets trying to play for that big inning again. Daniel Murphy, the hitter. The pitch on the way. Swinging a ground ball up the middle. Base hit into center field. Beltran being waved around third. Stubbs up with the ball. Throws into the cutoff man Votto. Scoring standing up is Beltran. Murphy's driven in another run. It's his 2nd of the night. And the Mets have a 7-5 lead here in Cincinnati.
And 2 more hits for Murphy. That's 3 games in a row with 2 hits for Murph, who had been falling into his first slump of the season.
Wright stopped at second. Ryan Price, the pitching coach, out to talk with Nick Massett, who has walked a man, given up subsequent singles, and the Mets continue to score. They have scored in 4 different innings tonight.
And again, these tack-on runs now become especially important when the Mets are down 1 man in their bullpen. With Jason Isringhausen, at least as we were told before the game, unavailable after throwing 30 pitches last night of the 9th inning. Plus getting tangled up with Daniel Murphy on that play at first base. So Sam LeCure, a right-hander, goes to work in the Cincinnati bullpen. Again, you would imagine 1 more inning for Acosta, and then they can go to Beato in the 8th and Parnell in the 9th. That would be the formula at this point.
So back to the action here with the right-hander Nick Massett delivering a fastball over the middle of the plate for a strike taken by Jason Bay. 0-1. Bay has walked and scored a run. He has a sacrifice fly. He's 0 for 1 officially. Runners at first and second. Massett looks to second, now delivers, and the overhand curve is over for a strike. He's quickly ahead in the count, 0-2 on Jason Bay. On deck is Ronnie Paulino. Murphy's at first. David Wright at second base, the pitch. Fastball swung on and missed it on 3 pitches. Jason Bass strikes out for the first out of the inning. And here comes Paulino. Hitting the road, take the Mets with you wherever you go this season. Subscribe to MLB.tv today. See every Mets game live or on demand on your computer or your favorite devices. Visit Mets.com to order to get more details. Mets 7, Cincinnati 5. Mets poised for another productive inning. The pitch to Paulino. Taken low, ball 1, a fastball. He is struck out, grounded out, reached on an error on the third baseman, Miguel Cairo, on what looked to be a tailor-made double play ball. Hard hit, and Paulino running. Here's the 1-0. Fastball, that's hit in the hole at shortstop. A stop by Renteria. Turns, throws too late. Murphy beats the throw. It's going to be an infield hit for Ronnie Paulino, due in large part because of the aggressive lead at first base by Daniel Murphy and racing to second base. He got his catcher a hit there, and the bases are loaded for the Mets. Good job of stopping the ball by Renteria. Thought he might be able to get to his feet, but it was not easy for him, and the only play he felt he had was to come back, turn his body, and throw to second base from that almost kneeling position.
Well, I thought he was going to try to pop up and throw to first because he had such a slow runner out of the box in Paulino. I thought that was his best route to a potential out.
So that is the third hit of the inning, and Jason Pratty, who's already been dangerous tonight against the Reds. A single and a 2-run double. He's 2 for 3. Bases loaded. He's hit 3 home runs this year, and the pitch fouled away at the plate. OU station identification, 10 seconds of the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Bases loaded, and here comes the pitch. Inside, nearly grazed his uniform. 1 ball, 1 strike. A fastball chasing him off the plate. Friday has made 2 starts in a row. He's hit the ball well. He has 3 hits. He also lined out in the game last night. 1 man out. The 1-1 pitch. He drops a beautiful curve over for a strike. That was a dandy. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and you just tip your cap if you're Pridey right there. Good pitch. Pridey might have to shorten that swing a little bit. Contact is key. Angel Pagan has come out to the on-deck circle to pinch hit. Here's the delivery, and he comes back with a curveball inside. Ball 2, 2-2. He'll be hitting for Acosta if we get there.
So much for the formula of a second inning for Manny Acosta.
Got to play for the big inning here.
Exactly.
I guess your best defense is your best offense. Get as many runs as you can on that scoreboard.
Right.
7 runs on 10 hits for the Mets.
Totally agree with it.
The 2-2 coming from Nick Massett. And it swung on and fouled away. Threw him another off-speed pitch. Continue to throw that breaking ball.
Absolutely have to try to get more runs here. Pridey should be retired.
Ryota Igarashi throwing along with the only left-hander, Tim Burdack. Had a big night last night. And his nemesis, Jay Bruce. Here's the set by Massett and a 2-2 pitch to the plate. Breaking ball. It's hit on the ground to first base. Coming home with the throw is Votto. He'll get the out of David Wright. As it was a good play by Votto. The only play he felt he could make easily was to throw quick. I mean, he could go to first base, but you're not going to do it there. He was not going to surrender that run. So Wright is out on that ground ball. It goes 3-2. No chance to get a return toss to first. So Pridey is aboard at first. Paulino's now at second. Over at third is Murphy. And Angel Pagan is coming to the plate. For Pagan, he is hitting .232. It has been an off year for him offensively and defensively. 4 home runs, 33 driven in. The 7 errors got the attention even of Dusty Baker. He was surprised to see that. Only the second pinch hit performance of the year for Pagan. He's 0 for 1 officially. So here he comes up to hit for Acosta. Left-handed batter waiting. Massett ready and deals. And a fastball is too high. Ball one. 1 ball and no strikes. The heat, humidity got to him in Florida. He had to take himself out of that ball game. He's a real good hitter with the bases loaded. 1 career grand slam, and he had 364 in this role. The pitch curve is too high, and it's ball 2. Massett just did him a huge favor. Massett, unhappy with the result of that last pitch, throws it out on his own. Throws it over to the first base dugout. 2 balls, no strikes to Pagan.
Billy Bray, the lefty, Sam LeCure, the righty, continue to throw in the Cincinnati bullpen.
Feet spread apart for Pagan. The guy behind him in the first base dugout, Dusty Baker, was his manager in Chicago. One of his managers there. The 2-0 pitch. Fastball hit off the end of the bat, shallow center. Coming on as the center fielder can't make the catch. It's going to be a base hit. Advancing in is Murphy from third base, and Paulino held up. Does Paulino know that there are 2 outs? I'm not sure, but he held up between second and third as if he thought it was 1 out. Mets get a run. It's 8-5, but another mental error on the part of Ronnie Paulino. Now, I don't think he's going to score a run, but I don't know why he was playing it that way.
But he hesitated. He stopped. There's no way he knew it was 2 out. He held up between second and third.
Well, that 364 continues to be very impressive, and it just went up for Angel Pagan. And this call to the bullpen is brought to you by the Communications. Bill Bray, the left-hander, came on to face and turn Carlos Beltran around and bat right-handed last night in the pivotal 7th inning. And he hit a sacrifice fly against him. The bases are loaded. They have Jose Reyes turn around and bat right-handed, which is no picnic. He's hitting .316 from this side. Bases loaded, and the first pitch is over for a called strike, and it's 0-1 to Reyes. He's still looking for his first hit of the night. So far, 1 for 9 in this series. At third base is Paulino. Friday's at second. Pagan, the runner, at first. Here's the pitch. Swing and a pop-up. Off to the left of home plate. Coming back is Ramon Hernandez, and he makes the catch, and that bit of strategy worked as Reyes fouls out to the catcher and leaves the bases loaded. 2 runs on 4 hits in the inning and 3 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning here in Cincinnati. The Mets have an 8-5 lead over the Reds on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Wood, Manhattan's leading owner of luxury rental apartments, can help you find the home of your dreams. Every Glenwood residence offers world-class elegance, impeccable service, and luxury amenities for a higher quality of life. New Yorkers love going out. Glenwood residents love coming home. Call them at 888-GLENWOOD. Ryota Igarashi summoned from the bullpen to work the bottom of the 7th inning. Manny Acosta did his job. He left runners at second and third by striking out Drew Stubbs to end the 6th inning threat by Cincinnati. 8 runs on 11 hits for the Mets. 5 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for Cincinnati. Igarashi's job to get Renteria, then Votto, and Brandon Phillips. Right-hander's pitch. He pours in a fastball for a strike, 0-1. Renteria hit the ball late and hit her just fair down the right field line for a 2-run double in the 5th inning against the left-handed starter John Neese. The pitch, fastball, that's cracked on the ground out to the shortstop. Picked up by Reyes, sets and throws, and he gets his opposite number for the first out here in the 7th. Feld Law Firm, New York's premier personal injury firm, reminds you that this copyrighted broadcast from Cincinnati is presented by authority of Sterling Mets and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Sterling Mets. Fans love Joey Votto. And why not? A walk, a line drive to left, and a 2-run home run to left field, all against Neese. Igarashi delivers a fastball a little bit low, ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes. Igarashi starting to feature a curveball. He hasn't thrown one yet to Renteria or Votto. The pitch. There's a little bit of a changeup. And pitch is low, 1 ball.
I wonder if that might be his long-lost splitter.
Wow, we haven't seen that pitch.
Yeah, it's certainly a better weapon against left-handers, but it's something he had just mixed results with in terms of success.
He brings home the next, and he bounces it up there, and the count 2 balls and a strike. That definitely was not his fastball at 86.
Remember, they wanted him to emphasize the curveball when he went back to Buffalo, as well as refine his mechanics.
He sets and he delivers. And a swing and a miss. That is the split.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Got to be a split. 85 and got a swing and a miss, 2-2. Well, what's he going to surprise us with the next time he comes out and pitches? Supposedly put this on the shelf, and it's back tonight. Might have found it in that bullpen. It's a pitch that had been eluding him. To throw with quality. Fastball, he runs it up and away, ball 3. 3-2. Igarashi. The Mets leading by 3 runs. If he gives up a home run to Votto, so be it. You cannot walk him in this ballpark. Now with Phillips coming up next. He'll have to challenge him. And the right-hander deals. The pitch is popped up in the air down the left field line. It is slicing away from Bay, coming over near the wall, reaches up and can't make the catch. The ball hit the top of the wall and skimmed right past his arm. Well, I'll say this for Bay. He had a good read on that ball, and he gave it every opportunity to catch a ball that was humanly possible. With that ball coming down and striking that sidewall down into the corner. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Votto. Igarashi said yes to the sign. Now prepares for the payoff pitch, and here it is. And he delivers that splitter for a called strike 3. A called third strike with a split finger to Joey Votto. That's the second out. Terrific pitch. That is not his curveball. That's got to be a split. Now Brandon Phillips, the batter.
And he did not throw a straight changeup when he came here last year. His changeup was, in fact, the split. So he's rediscovered it, or at least he did against Joey Votto. You need every weapon you could find against that guy.
Now he deals to the plate, and a good curveball. That's over for a strike, so there it is. He threw that one. 0-1 the count. First curveball he's thrown tonight. 8-5 Mets leading. 2 outs, nobody on. Bottom of the 7th inning here in Cincinnati. The Mets trying to take 2 in a row here. The pitch. Fastball that's ripped in the air to center field. That's going to fall in front of the on-rushing Jason Pride. He'll play it on a hop. So Brandon Phillips, equal to the task on that fastball, ripped it into center field. And a 2-out single that brings Jay Bruce to the plate. Now Bruce, who certainly was watching from the dugout, watching how another left-hander, a fellow left-hander, was pitched to. We'll see what he does here. We'll see what Igarashi does initially and how Bruce reacts. He has struck out twice and grounded out to first. All of that against the starter John Neese, the southpaw. Igarashi out of the stretch with a runner at first. Leading by 3, and his fastball outside, ball 1. Igarashi in a little different territory than he's accustomed. Pitching in the 7th inning of the game with a lead. Now he delivers, and it's an off-speed pitch. It's bounced foul on the ground, first base side. We're going to go with splitter / changeup because that's the effect of that pitch. I can't wait to talk to his interpreter and find out exactly what has happened here tonight, but I like the results with these left-handed batters.
Well, I'm going to go straight to Dan Warthen, and then we'll compare notes.
There you go.
See if they're on the same page.
1 ball and 1 strike. And the pitch to Bruce. Fastball is high, and it's 2 balls and a strike. In fact, that might have been the split that just hung up there. Certainly wasn't an overpowering pitch. Chris Heisey is out on deck. Once again, reading the signs, Igarashi now steps off. Can't be concerned about that runner at first base with a 3-run lead. please. You have a 2-1 count on the hitter. Sets at the belt. Now turns and bluffs a throw over to first base. I don't get it.
He's got a guy at the plate right now who can hit the ball out of the ballpark and turn this into a one-run game. And there's no reason to worry about Brandon Phillips here.
Still looking over there at first. Phillips did steal earlier, but his not important now. Here's an off-speed pitch that's tapped foul up the first base side, fielded by Murphy, coming off the bag as he held against the runner. Phillips, before returning to first base, has one parting shot with Jose Reyes as they commiserate over there at the second base bag.
And you know how aggressive Daniel Murphy was. Bruce kind of hooked that ball on the ground, and Murph just charged down the line, hoping he could get to it before it hooked foul. But there was little to no chance of that.
Phillips off to a short lead at first. Once again, Igarashi looks at him. Now he sets. And the 2-2 pitch. Fastball foul back. That was a late swing by Bruce. And fastball at 92. Dave Bruce had a huge May where he hit 12 home runs. But he has been no better than 4 home runs in a month since. Sitting on 21 of them. The 2-2 pitch, and it's outside. He threw that splitter again, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Murphy trying to get instruction from the dugout now alerts Igarashi's in a play behind the runner with a 3-2 count and 2 outs. Left-handed batting, Bruce at the plate, so it's a smart move. Murphy and Phillips playing tag over there at first base. 3-2 pitch, a runner going, a swing and a miss. He got him on the splitter, and Jay Bruce strikes out, as did Votto on the very same pitch. But this one was swinging. No runs, 1 hit, 1 runner left on. And at the end of 7, it's 8-5 Mets on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Mets baseball brought to you tonight by RE/MAX of New York. Nobody in the world sells more real estate than RE/MAX. Visit RE/MAX.com today, your foreclosure and short sale experts. Manny Acosta got through an inning where he left runners at second and third. Ryota Igarashi, we had mentioned, traveling down a path that he hasn't seen much of this year, and that is late in the ball game with a lead, trying to secure it. And he got the job done, striking out Jay Bruce, who has struck out 3 times tonight and is 0 for 4. So the Mets will take a lead to the 8th inning, leading 8-5. They're going to face a new pitcher, Sam LeCure, and here to tell you about it is Howie Rose.
He's a 27-year-old rookie who pitched a perfect inning in last night's game. Thank you, Wayne. Also got into 15 games, 6 of them as a starter last year with the Reds. He's made 4 starts this year, and he faces Justin Turner to lead off. Mets up by 3. Right-hander's first pitch on the outside corner, a breaking ball, no balls and 1 strike. Fastball in there, strike 3 called. So Turner down on strikes as LeCure gets rid of his first batter. It'll bring up Beltran. Geico could help you save on more than just cars. On pitch, fastball low inside, ball 4. Always a little delay with Laz Diaz, but Beltran draws the walks. He's been on base 4 times now, and of course he is now gone 32 consecutive games where he's been on base at least once. Let's see if Dustin Pedroia has been aboard tonight. We'll check that out as we look at the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by Major World in Queens with over 3,000 quality pre-owned cars. If you accept that Clint Hurdle is probably the manager of the year to this point in the National League, Charlie Manuel's got to be in the discussion. 1-2 to right. Now the pitch, fastball in there, strike three called, and David was looking for something else. He and Turner both punched out on fastballs right down the middle, 2 men away.
Well, I agree with you, Clint Hurdle, because of the Pirates and their great uprising through that National League Central from the basement to contention. Let's give some credit to somebody else. Ray Searage, the pitching coach of the Pirates, and the job he has done. We'll give you a great example as we go along here involving Charlie Morton.
They're a pitching coach of the year. Is that where you're going?
Give it to him. He is almost single-handedly turned that franchise around.
Murph 2 for 4. And Daniel takes a fastball for a called strike of the knee. He's 0-1.
Remember, we saw Charlie Morton, and he looked just like Roy Halladay. And he worked in the mirror trying to mimic that windup. And the previous regime laughed at him and said, "You can't do that."
Here's the 0-1. Curveball, line to right field, base hit. Murphy has his third hit. Turning second, heading for third is Beltran. As Bruce plays it into the cutoff man, Phillips. On at first with a single to right is Daniel Murphy. And the Mets have runners at the corners, 2 men out. And Jason Bay coming up.
But that's just a little example. Charlie Morton was told by Ray Searage the first day they hooked up together in spring training. He says, "I want to see 2 pitches from you. I want to see a sinker and a slider. I don't want to see another pitch from you." And this is a guy who was getting away from the sinker. Remember, he didn't pitch that well going over to the Pirates from the Atlanta Braves. Bobby Cox always thought he was going to be the special pitcher. Well, Ray Searage has made him into that special pitcher, and he is just one example of that.
Well, now Bay with runners at the corners, 2 out. First pitch is taken off the outside corner, a slider, 1 ball and no strikes. Jason 0 for 2, walk, sacrifice fly, just 6 hits in his last 50 at-bats. He has struck out twice tonight. He's got Beltran at third, Murphy at first. The Mets leading 8-5 with 2 out in the 8th. LeCure's pitch, fastball driven in the air towards right center field. Heading over is Bruce, the right fielder, makes the catch, and that retires the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. Middle of the 8th, Mets 8, Reds 5 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets! FAN!
State
Radio Network. Howie Rose, Wayne Hagan with you at Great American Ballpark. Mets up 8-5, continuing the out-of-town scores. Emilio Bonifacio extended his hitting streak to 24 games with a third-inning double. And the Marlins have a 6-2 lead over Washington going to the 9th inning. Atlanta 3, Pittsburgh 3, with that game in the bottom of the 8th inning in Atlanta. Brewers lead the Cubs 3-2 after 5 in Milwaukee. Chris Heisey leads off, and Igarashi throws him a fastball on the inside corner for a called strike 1. Cardinals, with Pujols hitting number 23, lead the Astros 2-1 at the end of 5 in St. Louis. Arizona at San Diego just getting underway. Joe Saunders against Dustin Mosley. A 1 pitch and a curveball hit on the ground down the third base line. It's a fair ball, an extra base hit, rolling towards the corner. Heisey on his way to second. Bay plays it on the warning track. Heisey takes a pretty big turn at second, but he'll hold on as the ball comes into Reyes. And Chris Heisey is led off the bottom of the 8th with a 2-base hit.
David Wright is arguing with Scott Berry, the third base umpire. I'd love to see a different angle. We're getting the Reds telecast. It was a hanging curveball. We're going to get a good look at it. It has to go over the bag. It doesn't matter if it lands foul, which it did. It has to go over the bag. And quite frankly, that was an awful close call. I'm not sure which way it should have gone as far as that replay.
I thought with the naked eye, watching it in real time, it looked like a clean double. I didn't really see too much of an argument. Nothing from the dugout. At least nobody came out, just what David Wright said. And so here's Miguel Cairo. Right-hand batter. And Igarashi deals a fastball that hits the inside corner for a called strike 1. Well, Pedro Beato is starting to loosen up in the Mets bullpen. Reds need 1 more base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. We're in the 8th inning. 12 hits for the Mets, 10 for the Reds. One other big number, though. The 0-1 way outside a fastball, 1 ball, 1 strike, and that number is 3. as in errors made by the Reds. And there could have been 2 others easily charged that were not. And so it's a near miracle the Reds are even in this game. They actually led at one point 5-4. Now the 1-1 pitch. Curveball popped in the air, foul down the first base line, out of play, but he hung that one up there, and the count 1-2.
Yeah, that was not a good curveball. He's thrown 2 bad ones in the inning. One is a double, and he's fortunate because Cairo, I don't know if it's his experience. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's a combination of that veteran statesmanship that he brings to the game every day. He's in a 367 with men in scoring position. That's a guy that can focus.
Well, focus was one of the reasons Miguel Cairo was a Met for 1 year back in 2005. Paulino calls time. He's going to go out and talk to Igarashi, assuming that they can communicate. But Willie Randolph was in his first year managing the Mets, and he knew Cairo from the Yankees. And the reason that he wanted Cairo here was to help focus a young Jose Reyes at shortstop who had a tendency to wander. And you'd see Jose, and he still does this from time to time, but you'd see him blousing his uniform shirt, and, seemingly drifting off from time to time. And Cairo and then Jose Valentin the next year really worked at keeping Reyes' head in the game. Now we're ready to go. The 1-2 to Cairo. Fastball hit on the ground, back to the mound. Igarashi grabs it, looks the runner back to second, and throws to first in time to get Cairo. 1 man out. Nicely done by Ryota Igarashi. And that'll bring up Ramon Hernandez.
You can really tell how he was trained. He was trained. He wasn't really watching the runner. He could see that he didn't break towards third. But he gets the ball, looks to second base, does a head fake, and then starts to run towards first base, and then ultimately gets the out. It's almost like it's scripted. It's very interesting to watch Japanese players perform, whether they be everyday players or a pitcher.
There are a lot of things that are different about Japanese baseball. We've talked about the different texture of the mound. The baseball's a little bit smaller in Japan. And one other thing that pitchers in Japan do is throw when they're in the game between innings. So you could be the starting pitcher, and you go into the dugout and sit down when your team's up. After a while, while your team is still up, you get up and start loosening again. Here's Hernandez, and he lines the first pitch foul down the right field line. No balls and 1 strike.
This guy's been the toughest out for the Reds tonight.
He has 2 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And let me tell you something else about the difference between Japanese baseball and American baseball, at least that I saw when I was involved in voicing over the Japan series for a couple of years. The atmosphere in the stands. Igarashi looking to second, now deals to Hernandez. Fastball swung on and missed. 0-2. Do you think they were making a lot of noise in Puerto Rico last year when the Mets were in San Juan? It's the same thing in Japan. I mean, they've got bands in the stands, and those thunder sticks are going the entire duration of the game. There's not a quiet, peaceful moment to be had there. Now, again, I don't know if that's so much part of the culture during regular season games. It certainly was during the Japan series, which is their World Series. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Fastball fouled back to the screen at 92. Still no balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he relied on the split finger to get 2 big outs in the 7th. Strikeouts of the left-handed batting Votto and Bruce. Now you see him going to that fastball with these right-handers. He knows that curveball is a little sketchy in this inning, so now he's gone to that fastball.
Igarashi is from Chiba, Japan. You might remember Bobby Valentine managing the Chiba Lati team. What was it, Chiba Lati Marines? Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it's just off the outside corner, a breaking ball. Laz Diaz has been punching some guys out tonight with delayed calls from behind home plate, and he looked like he was just about to come up with the arm there and then decided against it. 8-5 New York. 1 out, bottom of the 8th inning. Heisey the runner at second. It'll be a 1-2 to Ramon Hernandez on the way, and it's hit on the ground, back to the mound. Same deal. Igarashi looks to second, throws to first to get Hernandez. So nearly identical plays where Igarashi fields the one hopper, immediately looks to second, moves a step in that direction to chase the runner back, and then takes care of the hitter.
And very important, when he does that head fake to second, he has the ball up in his hand ready to throw. Everything is taught to him, and he's just going back to the fundamentals.
Yeah, there he's showing it to the runner. Remember in the '86 National League Championship Series when Charlie Kerfeld did that to Gary Carter? Carter hit a hard comebacker to Kerfeld. Kerfeld showed him the ball. That didn't sit well with the Mets, and then Carter beat Kerfeld the next day. Now here's Fred Lewis. First pitch, in for a called strike, 0-1. Lewis is batting for Sam LeCure. Left-hand hitter with speed, batting at .252, 3 homers, 17 RBIs. Come to think of it, I think it was in that same game that Kerfeld showed him the ball. 0-1 the count. Igarashi deals a curveball outside and high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, that pitch has been missing in this inning. Big time.
Chris Heisey led off the 8th with a double. He's still there after back-to-back comebackers. This game already over 3 hours old. And the Mets leading 8-5, looking to make it 2 in a row over the Reds here in Cincinnati. 1-1 pitch, and Lewis takes the splitter outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Colorado at Los Angeles just getting underway. Ulysses Chacin against Clayton Kershaw, who is 11-4, and seemingly getting better and better as this season progresses. 2.74 ERA. 2-1 to Lewis. Swung on and missed. There's that splitter again. And the count 2-2. In the American League, a couple of rain delays. CC Sabathia was flirting with a perfect game. Lost that with 1 out in the 7th on a single by Brendan Ryan. But the Yankees lead 4-1 as they bat in the bottom of the 8th inning. 2-2 pitch. And a liner towards center field. Base hit for Lewis. Around third, heading home Heisey. The throw to the plate by Pridey, properly cut off by Murphy at the pitcher's mound. So Heisey scores, and on at first with an RBI single is Fred Lewis. The Mets lead is now cut to 8-6. And Drew Stubbs, who is a home run threat, will come up representing the tying run at home plate.
Well, that was one splitter that he has thrown that didn't get the job done. He wanted it to start at the knees and drop down. It stayed up high enough for Lewis to react and hit the ball up the middle.
And so Terry Collins is coming out to talk to the home plate ump Laz Diaz. And looks like he's going to make a double switch. Jason Bay is going to come out of this game. And so I would imagine that either Willie Harris or Scott Hairston will go to left field while we get a new pitcher. I would imagine Pedro Beato, who had been throwing. It's 8-6 New York. It is Beato answering this call to the bullpen. Brought to you by Metro PCS, now by
Wireless for All.
Well, I would imagine that as far as these managers are concerned, this game's been about as much fun as a trip to the dentist. It's been excruciating. Mets lead 8-6. Drew Stubbs to face Pedro Beato. First pitch high and tight, a fastball, ball 1.
Yeah, this has been a root canal night for those two managers.
Remember, the Reds have made 5 errors, plus a couple of others that were not charged as such that I think should have been. Mets bullpen trying to hold on without its closer tonight. The 1-0 hit high in the air to deep left field. Going back, Harris into the gap. Makes the catch as his momentum takes him onto the warning track, and that retires the side. So Harris replaced Bay on the double switch. Pays off, and the inning is over. 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. And at the end of 8, it's the Mets 8, the Reds 6 on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Live out your Mets fantasy. Suit up with Mets legends and take to the field of the Mets Fantasy Camp this January in Port St. Lucie. Get to the phone at 718-559-3035 or visit Mets.com/fantasycamp today. Well, there's no save situation available for Francisco Cordero tonight, so he's going to work the 9th inning. In his 4th year with the Reds, he had 40 saves last year. This will be his 43rd appearance, 4-3, 19 saves, and a 2.74 earned run average this season. The Mets 8, the Reds 6. Ronnie Paulino leads off the top of the 9th inning. And the righty Cordero's first pitch, slider hit in the air to left field, deep but playable. Back goes Heisey and onto the warning track to make the catch. One man out. So one hanger thrown and one long fly ball out. And it'll bring up Jason Pridey, who's 2 for 4, including a 2-run double. Angels defeated the Indians 2-1. Now, as in Cleveland, the Indians had the bases loaded with nobody out in the 9th inning and didn't score. Baltimore 10, Toronto 4, the end of 7 in Toronto. Now Pridey, left-hand batter, first pitch fastball high, 1-0. Mentioned the Red Sox with their 12-7 lead over Kansas City in the 6th inning at Fenway. Texas 7, Minnesota 3 after 4. 1-0 to Pridey is taken low. 2 balls and no strikes. White Sox 2, Tigers 1 after 5. Adam Dunn his 10th home run. Came off of Justin Verlander. 2-0 pitch, fastball outside, ball 3. And Tampa Bay at Oakland just underway. David Price against Brandon McCarthy. Right here, Willie Harris is out on deck. Remember, he came in as part of a double switch, move that certainly paid off when he hauled in that Heisey fly ball. 3-0 pitch, fastball down the middle for a called strike 1. Harris replacing Jason Bay in left field, who struggled again at the plate, although he did have a sac fly in this game. 3-1 pitch, fastball with an ease for a called strike 2. Now, if you want to look ahead to the 9th, the Reds will be scheduled to send up Edgar Renteria, Joey Votto, and Brandon Phillips. So this may be a mix and match save opportunity. Payoff pitch on the way. Swung on and missed strike 3. Went after a fastball away. And Pridey down on strikes, 2 men out. And what I mean by that is Pedro Beato is in the game now. And looking out to the Mets bullpen, nobody's throwing at the moment. So Beato will probably start the inning against Renteria. But then I wouldn't be surprised to see Tim Burdack come on for Votto. And then you've got Phillips, a right-hand batter, Jay Bruce, a left-hand hitter. So that means Bobby Parnell can get into it as well. Don't be surprised if the Mets use 3 pitchers in the 9th inning. Or they could just use 1. Stick around. Willie Harris, first ball swinging, hooks a liner foul off the facing of the field boxes, and it caroms into short right field, 0-1. You know, we only kid around like this because Terry Collins told us very early on that as players went down with injury, that he was going to have to look for every edge that he could get, especially in terms of matchups. The 0-1 on the way. Fastball touches the inside corner to Harris. Strike 2 called. Willie batting at .254 with a homer and 10 RBIs. So it wouldn't be surprising to see him use as many as 3 relievers in the 9th inning. The 0-2 pitch. Way inside. It was in the dirt. Did he skip out of the way? I think he did. Wondered if that ball might have clipped him, but it did not. And the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. If Willie could keep it going, Jose Reyes would be next. And Reyes is 0 for 5 in this game. 8-6 New York, 2 out, nobody on, top of the 9th. Cordero sets. The 1-2 to Harris is taken low. Threw him a splitter in the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes with Reyes waiting on deck. And again, nobody throwing in the Mets bullpen now, so it looks like Beato will start the inning. Outfield around towards right here against Willie Harris. Cordero leans in for the sign from Hernandez. 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed strike 3. And Willie flips his bat down to the dirt in frustration. 2 strikeouts for Cordero. The Mets go in order. Middle of the 9th inning. 8-6 Mets on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets!
8-6 New York as we start the bottom of the 9th inning. It's going to be fun to manage along with Terry Collins here. He has Tim Burdack loosening up now. Beato will pitch to Edgar Renteria. The left-hand hitting Joey Votto is on deck. So that would seem to make it a slam dunk for Burdack. But remember, Votto absolutely crushes left-handed pitching, and he had a homer against John Neese tonight. But first it's Renteria, and a first pitch fastball down the middle for a called strike 1. Renteria grounded to short, flied to center, doubled in 2 runs, and grounded to short. Mets 8, Reds 6 as we start the bottom of the 9th. Beato's 0-1. Swung on and fouled back to the screen. It's 0-2. Well, technically, Beato is in position to qualify for his first major league save, but that's only if he could finish this game. You could help save lives by donating blood now. People can't live without it. Brought to you by the New York Blood Center. 0-2 the count to the shortstop Renteria. Beato deals a breaking ball, swung on and missed, strike 3. So 1 man out. Now Terry does not have to go to Burdack here because he's got a 2-run lead. So Votto will face Beato, and this means they could save Burdack for Jay Bruce, because Bruce hits behind the man who is now the on-deck hitter, Brandon Phillips. So that is a huge first out for Pedro Beato, because now he's got a chance to get these next 2 hitters and pick up a save. First strikeout for Beato. Votto 1 for 3. First pitch, fastball popped up down the third base line and foul ground over by the seats, right over, reaches in. Did he get it? He's bent over into the seats. Where's the ball? And a fan has it. It's simply a foul strike. The third base umpire, Scott Barry, was right down there with David Wright, waiting for him to pop up to see if the ball was in his glove, and it was not. No balls and 1 strike, but not without a great effort by David Wright. He leaned all the way in, and some guy wearing a Pete Rose jersey wound up with the ball. He'll either sign it or sell it. The 0-1 swung on and missed, strike 2. Got him with a fastball. And it's 0-2 to Votto, who kicks at some dirt in frustration outside the batter's box. Right-hand hitting Brandon Phillips on deck. 8-6 New York, 1 out, bottom of the 9th. The outfield straight away. The infield set back. The 0-2 pitch, high, a fastball, 1-2. David Wright way off the line at third against the left-hand batter. Votto's run might not mean anything, but if he gets on, the tying run comes to the plate. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and it's taken outside. A fastball, 2-2. Beato doesn't waste any time. He gets the ball back, and he's already bent over, getting the sign from Ronnie Paulino. Now he's set. Beato to the belt. 2-2 pitch. And a liner towards right center field. It's a base hit for Votto. Fielded by Pridey. Votto turns at first and holds. And now the Reds will bring the potential tying run to the plate in the person of Brandon Phillips. And this guy's got power. He has 10 home runs this year. 2 for 4 in this game. Well, now you have to figure that whatever happens here, short of a double play that would end the game, that Burdack would come on and face Jay Bruce. So Beato would love to get a ground ball here from Brandon Phillips. David Wright guards the line at third against the extra base hit as Phillips represents the tying run. First pitch. Breaking ball hit on the ground to short. Not that hard. Reyes has it. Throws to second one. Turn it to first. One hop over the glove of Murphy and goes into the camera well. And that means Phillips will get second base.
Well, it was probably an ill-advised throw on the part of Turner, but he was just trying his darndest to finish this ball game. Phillips was not fast down that line, but because of that moment's hesitation by Reyes trying to get the ball out of his glove, that cost him any chance of a double play.
Well, the runner, Joey Votto, was bearing right down on Justin Turner because of how slowly that ball was hit. So he forces the wide throw. And I would imagine that'll be a throwing error on Justin Turner for allowing Phillips to go to second, even though there is no error on the board. Well, now they put it up. And so Terry Collins comes out to the mound. He'll go to Burdack. That's leading 8-6, 2 out, bottom of the 9th under the opening in an interesting direction here. Tim Burdack, the lefty, will come on to face Jay Bruce with 2 out of the bottom of the 9th. Bruce will be the tying run at the plate. There's a runner at second, Brandon Phillips, and the Mets lead 8-6. That seems simple enough. So who's getting ready in the bullpen for Chris Heisey in case Bruce gets on? It's not Bobby Parnell. It's DJ Carrasco. Now, we were told by Terry Collins before the game that he did not have Jason Isringhausen. But he didn't say anything about Bobby Parnell. Last night, Parnell worked the 8th inning, faced 4 batters. Isringhausen faced 6 and needed 30 pitches to pitch the 9th. So it's DJ Carrasco behind Burdack right now. Well, we knew there was the chance the Mets were going to need 3 pitchers to get through this 9th inning. We didn't expect one of them would be DJ Carrasco.
Well, you weren't kidding about that either.
So here is Bruce. And that's what the crowd's yelling. Brew, brew. He is 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts. First pitch by Burdack. Slider outside. 1 ball and no strikes. Bruce with 21 home runs. 6th in the National League. The guy on deck, Heisey, has power as well. Burdack trying to end it right here. The 1-0. Slider inside under his elbow. Ball 2. Last night, of course, Burdack reunited with Bruce, who hit the home run last September 28th, which won the National League Central, clinched it for the Reds. And Burdack struck him out last night on 3 straight sliders. Here he's missed with 2 sliders. 2-0 to Bruce. The pitch, slider hit on the ground towards first, foul ball played by Murphy just to the right of the first base line. And the count, 2 balls and 1 strike on Jay Bruce. He meant so much to Burdack last night to put aside the memory of being on the mound for the Astros when he allowed that home run to Jay Bruce, which sent this ballpark into pandemonium last September. 2-1 the count. Phillips leads from second, the pitch, and a squibber foul up the third baseline. So the Mets a strike away here. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Carrasco right now not even throwing. He's just leaning against the fence of the Mets bullpen, watching to see if he'll be needed. Doesn't take long to get ready on a warm night like this. 8-6 Mets, 2 out, bottom of the 9th. Phillips leads from second, the outfield deep. 2-2 pitch popped high in the air, foul outside third, right over by the seats, but he won't have room. And the count 2-2. With Bruce representing the tying run, the Mets outfielders, Harris in left, Friday in center, Beltran in right, are actually parked in Kentucky right now on the other side of the Ohio River. That's how deep they're playing. They're in no doubles, wanting to keep Bruce and that tying run out of scoring position. 2-2 the count. Now Burdack comes set, checks the runner. The pitch to Bruce. Slider swung on and missed, strike 3. Put it in the books. Burdack gets him again. He struck out Bruce last night. He gets him to end the game tonight. And the Mets, in nearly 3.5 hours of excruciating baseball, have held on to make it 2 straight over the Reds here in Cincinnati. In the 9th inning, no runs, 1 hit, 1 error, and 1 left. The final score, the New York Mets 8 and the Cincinnati Reds 6. Back to talk about it in a moment on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
Let's go Mets!
With Tim Burdack picking up the save and Bobby Parnell probably not available, having pitched and struggled on Sunday and pitched last night as well. And so it came down to either Burdack or DJ Carrasco behind him, and Burdack struck out Bruce to end the game for the Mets. And for appearing with Ed Coleman, Jason Proddy receives a gift certificate to Statler Grill, located just steps away from Penn Station and Madison Square Garden on 33rd Street between 6th and 7th Avenues. The Statler serves classic New York Steakhouse prime steaks, chops, and fresh seafood, plus a delicious grill menu at the bar and lounge. Mets win at 8-6. We'll have a recap next on the WFAN Mets Radio Network. Mets win it 8-6. Try recapping this one, Wayne.
Well, it's hard to do, but there were some interesting points. First of all, Jose Reyes. Here's a guy who went 0 for 5 in this game, and yet the Mets win, and they get 8 runs. They didn't even need their best hitter in baseball to do anything. He did get a board on one of the 3 errors committed by the porous Cincinnati defense tonight. That was in the 3rd inning, leading it off, and he did score a run. But that's really what the story was tonight. The Mets taking advantage of some really poor plays. 2 balls that were misplayed, one by the third baseman Miguel Cairo, the other by the right fielder Jay Bruce, and they were each awarded hits. The hitters were for the Mets instead of errors. But it's a game where they beat Johnny Cueto. I guess he gave up 6 runs. Sounds like he had a terrible night. But they were all unearned against him. He's now 0-3 against the Mets in his career. And John Neese, the Ohio product, finally gets his first career win against the Cincinnati Reds. And he pitched all of 5 innings, one of the shortest stints he'll ever have. So one of those nights where you had a relief corps of Manny Acosta, Ryota Igarashi, who went an inning and 2/3, by the way, Pedro Beato, an inning, and Tim Burdack gets his first save as a Met as he gets the final out, striking out Jay Bruce. That's the kind of night that is hard to recap, but there were very, very different elements involved. Here are the winning totals for the Mets. 8 runs, 12 hits, 1 error, 10 left. For Cincinnati, 6 runs, 12 hits, 3 errors, 8 stranded. John Neese, the winning pitcher. He's the first Met to get to double figures. He's 10-8. Johnny Cueto now 6-4. Burdack his first save. Time of game 3 hours and 25 minutes before a paid crowd of 27,552. Once again, the final score tonight, it was the Mets 8, Cincinnati 6.
New York Mets Baseball is a production of Sports Radio 66 WFAN in conjunction with the New York Mets. The executive producer is Dove Kramer. The coordinating producer, Vicky Biello. Studio operations by Brian Monzo and Stan Tallowy. And our producer-engineer in the booth is the immortal Chris Smachkowski. The next game, Game Time, is brought to you by New York Lottery. Good things happen in an instant with New York Lottery's instant games. Are you ready? Game Time tomorrow against the Reds is 7:10 p.m. That's Extra gets the broadcast underway at 6:30. And so for Wayne Hagan and Ed Coleman, I'm Howie Rose. Thanks for joining us. Once again, the final score tonight, the New York Mets 8 and the Cincinnati Reds 6. Stay tuned now for Mets Extra, coming up next on the WFAN Mets Radio Network.
New York Mets baseball on Sports Radio 66 WFAN was brought to you by Hyundai. New thinking, new possibilities. Roadrunner Broadband.